Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I'm Christine Lisi. When the Bucks open up their first-round NBA playoff series against the Pacers Sunday, Giannis Antetokounmpo will likely be a spectator. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Milwaukee's preparing to be without the two-time league MVP for the start of the series. They hope treatment on his calf strain allows him to return at some point in the series. Lakers power forward Anthony Davis questionable against the Pelicans tonight in the West 7-8-7 play-in matchup. The West 9-10 play-in tonight, Kings and Warriors. Despite sputtering down the stretch, Sacramento will get the better of this win-or-go-home matchup, predicts ESPN's Andrea Carter.
First of all, it's in Sacramento. Second of all, Sacramento is going to be fired up from what happened last season when the Warriors knocked them out of the playoffs. And then if you think about it, this has been a close game. The last 3 times these teams have played, it's been decided by 1 point. De'Aaron Fox is averaging 27 points against the Warriors in the last 10 times that he's played them.
Kings Warriors 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Michigan got 3 years probation, was fined and hit with recruiting restrictions for recruiting violations during the pandemic under former football coach Jim Harbaugh.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You suck. And Mr. Toby Tom, play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Transfer portal is open. Shea Dixon here in about 15 minutes. We'll continue our SEC spring recaps, looking at Arkansas and the Vols. We will head to the blender in hour 3 for a scene setter final preview. We got mock drafts. We got Brian Kelly. We got a ton to do. Let's get going.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So it's the Pels and the Lakers. It's the play-in, a place where none of us wanted to see New Orleans. I was asked earlier today, doing a show with my guys from Lafayette, RP3, D-Lo, and Mesh. They're in town. The guys asked me, hey, what do you want to see happen? Like, the best scenario, right, is for New Orleans to win tonight. And part of me intuitively says, well, of course it is. Like, you want to win, you want to advance, you want to get into the postseason. And realistically, though, if we're looking at what is, they asked me, like, what would constitute a successful season for the Pelicans? And from my vantage point, we came into this year saying, okay, 2 years ago, you were in the play-in, you advanced. Awesome. The expectation last year was playoffs, had some injuries, it didn't work out, you missed the playoffs altogether. This year, the play-in tournament wasn't the goal. The goal all year long was be in the top 6. Be in the top 6, punch your ticket to the playoffs. Show that progress. Well, you didn't do it. So at this point, the only way that I can see us looking back at this season as successful is if you win a series. You've got to advance in the playoffs. It's not going to be good enough to win tonight and then lose to Denver and bow out. You got to advance. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, well, the best opportunity for them to advance is lose tonight, beat Sacramento or Golden State on Friday, and then play a best of 7 against OKC because you got a better chance of winning that. And quite honestly, you've been a better team on the road than you have at home this year. So you got this game tonight, and yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, of course, I'm not thinking of it through the lens of the players, who of course are going to try to win this game, do everything they damn well can to win this game. I'm looking at it through the lens of what's it going to take for this team to advance. And the best play is not win tonight and play Denver. The best play is lose tonight, win Friday, and then play OKC. Until I started to think of another reason why it would be absolutely magnificent for the Pelicans to win tonight, which would actually trump winning a round in the playoffs and then bowing out in the Western Conference semis or however it may look. And that reason is to get rid of LeBron James. To get rid of LeBron James. It is almost unfathomable when you think about LeBron. He is undeniably one of the greats on anybody's list. 4-time NBA champ, 4-time Finals MVP, 4 times MVP, 20-time All-Star, 13-time NBA first team, All-NBA first team, 5-time All-NBA defensive first team. Member the NBA's 75th anniversary team. He was the Rookie of the Year in 05 or 04. He was the AP Athlete of the Decade in the 2010s. He is the NBA's all-time scoring leader. And he is hated. Why do you think LeBron is hated? Oh, let me count the ways. Could we go back to when LeBron was coming out of high school and he posed for an SI cover where it said, "The Chosen One," declaring that he was the one to come when he was 18 years old? You could say that's not his fault. He posed for the cover, didn't he? Well, what 18-year-old wouldn't? I don't know. One that didn't think he warranted that kind of expectation? Oh, there's other trivial things. A lot of us hate the stupid chalk thing, right? He walks the scorer's table, he grabs the chalk and throws it in the air, and some of you look with adulation and adoration. I look at him like, man, just go sit down. What are you throwing chalk in the air? The headband used to be his staple. Then one time in the middle of a finals game, it got knocked off his head, and then he just decided not to wear it anymore. Whatever. But it's so much more than just those things. Now, here's a guy that gets drafted by Cleveland. He gets drafted by Cleveland. Oh, and he had success in Cleveland, but he couldn't get over the hump in Cleveland. So what did he do when he becomes a free agent? He decides that he's going to leave, but he couldn't just leave in a normal way. He has a big old TV show to announce he's leaving.
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Oh, and then they were ready, weren't they? They were ready in South Beach because LeBron couldn't win on his own. He had to go join D. Wade and Bosh. And you would think, boy, they were just going to rack up the championships. But that's not exactly how it happened. He went 2-2 during his time there. I actually don't count either of those for LeBron because, you know what? You needed a super team, and you couldn't even win every NBA Finals you were in. And if that wasn't sad enough, all them people in Cleveland hated you. There was a dude who wrote a book called The Whore of Akron when LeBron left for Miami. And what did LeBron do? Because he's so weak-minded and needs to be loved, he went back. He went back to Cleveland. The people that called him a whore, that booed him, that burned his jerseys, he went back and won the only legitimate title of his career when they came back and beat the 73-win Golden State Warriors hat tip. That was your finest moment as a pro. But then, of course, because he's LeBron, he had to do what we knew he'd do. He leaves Cleveland again, and this time he goes to L.A. But it's not just that. Oh, it's not just that. Remember the 2012 NBA All-Star Game? The 2012 NBA All-Star Game, as the game's winding down, we got this amazing moment where Kobe and LeBron, it's a 2-point game. They inbound the ball to LeBron, and then what does he do? D'd up by Kobe when all the crowd is getting loud and they're ready. Hey, here we go, LeBron, Kobe, LeBron, take the shot, LeBron. No, he passes the ball. Darren Williams missed. They get the rebound. It gets back to LeBron, and what does LeBron do? Here's your shot. Here it is. Nope, he passes it again. The chosen one might. Yeah, right. Tell me Jordan would ever, tell me Allen Iverson would ever pass on that shot. Oh, there's that. By the way, you realize the reason we have new flop rules in the NBA is because of LeBron? Because LeBron just runs all over the court flopping and has. I mean, we thought it was the Euro influence. No, it's not the Euro influence. It's your king. If LeBron's a king, LeBron's as much a king as, what was the guy's name in Gladiator? Joaquin Phoenix's character, the Emperor, whatever his name is, that nobody respected. Maximus. You know what I'm talking about? Maximus is down there, and the Emperor's like giving him the thumbs down to kill him. And then Maximus was like, nah, I'm not killing him. Bleep you, guy. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about LeBron. LeBron's as much a king as the Emperor, played by Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator, is a leader. What was his name?
Richard. No, I'm sorry. That's
Great
the wrong
job,
film.
Muse. Thanks. I'm going to keep rolling here. You know what?
I don't know his name.
And then, despite being 4-6 in the NBA Finals in his career, 4-6, he's lost more finals than he's won. LeBron wins an NBA summer camp title down there with Mickey Mouse watching and thinks that's the thing that legitimizes his career because he won a title with the Lakers, his third franchise, and he comes out with all this, the GOAT stuff. This is what LeBron said after the summer camp title.
We just want our respect. Rob wants his respect. Coach Vogel wants his respect. Our organization wants their respect. Laker Nation wants their respect. And I want my damn respect,
Yeah,
too.
you want your respect. How about you go earn your respect? How annoying is it as well that LeBron's trying to pretend he's not bald? Dude, we know you had hair transplant surgery. I'm a bald guy, too. I get it. Being bald ain't fun. You want to go not be bald? Okay, go not be bald. But, I don't know, I sit out here and pretend like you ain't bald. We all know you bald, bro. Just own it. Bald is beautiful. Not really. If I had the money, I'd probably do the surgery, too. But I ain't you, LeBron. But we can all tell you went and had surgery. And then if that ain't bad enough, this dude is trying to influence future generations of the NBA. LeBron's out there talking about his son, Bronny, and I ain't trying to bring the kids into it, but Bronny just finished up his freshman year at USC where he averaged 4.8 points per game on a crappy team, and LeBron has the audacity to say on the record, if he's not drafted where we want him to go, I'm going to make a few phone calls. You think you're that golden that you're going to dictate where a team uses a draft pick to take your son who can't play a lick? Kick rocks, bro. That's why nobody likes LeBron. That's why LeBron's hated. It's the never-ending personality crap you got to deal with this fool. And now LeBron's dragging his good buddy there, Anthony Davis, back to New Orleans. Yeah, Anthony Davis of That's All, folks, infamy down here in the Crescent City. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, not Anthony Davis. What's his name again?
I call him Anthony Street Clothes Davis because he's always in street clothes.
That's right, street clothes. Street clothes is coming back down here for another game. So, look, yeah. I'm looking at your New Orleans Pelicans, and I would love to see the best scenario possible for advancement as deep into the playoffs as possible. But more than anything, I would revel in the opportunity to send LeBron and street clothes back to LA without a playoff appearance. So I hope the Pels woke up this morning and ate their damn Wheaties and they're ready to roll, because I want them to kick the ever-living crap out of the Los Angeles Lakers tonight and send those losers and their stupid fake fans who live in Louisiana but wear Lakers jerseys because they don't support the home team. You losers need to kick rocks too, and I'm here for all of that smoke right now. So let's go, Pels. Send Street Clothes and the Chosen One back to La La Land. And let's get on and play Denver, see how we do against the real champs. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Thinking of selling your home? Now is the time. You got to call Darren James. I'm going to give you Darren's cell phone number. We've seen a really, some real positive movement in the market in the last 4 to 6 weeks. You're starting to see with the interest rates that tick down, you're starting to see buyers come back into the market. I think people are realizing, number one, if you wait, the market's going to get saturated. Also, the other thing, too, is if interest rates continue to tick down lower, there's going to be even more competition sending prices up. So you're seeing more buyers in the market. So if you're a seller or considering selling your home, act now. Beat that rush. Get out front of it. Call Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150s, $10,000 off the new F-150 truck, plus 1.9% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. Of course, Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Had a little fun there talking about the Pels taking on the Lakers tonight. Let's punk LeBron in street clothes, get him out of town, and send him crying into their off season. LSU spring game was this past weekend. It ended up being a fruitful recruiting weekend as well for the Tigers. Our buddy Shea Dixon joins us here on Tuesday. On 3, the Bengal Tigers. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing awesome. So when you look and totally encapsulate the past weekend, a commitment from a 4-star running back, you had Bryce Underwood back on campus, a whole bunch of other commits on campus, the Corian Moore pledges he's 1,000% committed to LSU. How would you rate the weekend as a whole recruiting for LSU?
A success. And certainly, look, a lot of other spring games were going on. So for them to be able to get the amount of visitors that they had on campus, especially key ones, was big. And I think you start there, right? JT Lindsey, get a new commitment coming out of Alexandria. We've got him ranked as a top 150 prospect, number 11 running back in the country, and a top 5 prospect in Louisiana. And LSU had an eye on him for a while. Obviously, have been pursuing James Simon, a top 10 back in the country who's also from Louisiana, and then have a commitment from the number 1 running back who's from Louisiana in Harlem Berry. So I thought it was really only a matter of time. James Simon, conversation aside, whether he ends up at LSU, that Lindsey would land an offer, and then they would maybe take at least 2, if not 3 backs in this class. And this one's earned. I mean, he went out and ran a 10.7 on Friday night up in Scotlandville on the track, and he put it together on the field with a guy nearly 2,000 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns, and everybody over in the Alexandria area has been screaming that, hey, look, college is this guy's a star. And he had picked up some offers, but LSU was his first big one, and you wasted 0 time. He said, as an Alexandria kid, this is the one you grew up wanting, and committed to the Tigers, and now they still, on 3, have the number 1 recruiting class on the industry. They're going back and forth with Ohio State. So they've got a little competition here for the next 6-7 months as to who will finish number 1, and I think the race will come down to LSU or Ohio State.
Shea, you mentioned Simon. Do you think LSU would take 3 running backs in this class?
Yes, I do, if it were James Simon.
Okay.
Right? You've got 3 top 11 running backs in the country, all in Louisiana. But now you've got 2 of them committed, and James Simon's currently right now on campus at Notre Dame. He's in the middle of, I think, 8 stops over 2 months, and then official visits would probably come. So he's still got a ways to go with his process. Obviously, they felt like, hey, we like Lindsey. If we offer him, he'll probably shut things down. And Frank Wilson usually reads things right in that regard. It only took him a few more days to come back to campus with his parents and shut it down and get it done.
If you're watching or listening live and you got a question about a prospect for Shea you want to get in, you can email me, tweet me, or text me in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Shea, with the portal opening today, before we get back into the high school guys, with the portal opening today, anything in particular you're keeping a keen eye on as it relates to this spring window with this cycle?
I mean, I'll take Brian Kelly at his word, because in this situation, it is one that I think everybody who follows LSU football closely can see, and it's that they have a needed defensive tackle. And yes, you can wipe the slate clean and hire all new coordinators on that side of the ball, and you can, at this point, install a new defense, add guys from high school, take a JUCO guy in Sean Washington. But when you only return 2 scholarship DTs, and only one of them, Jacobian Guillory, was out there getting consistent first-team reps, it's obvious that they have to address the defensive tackle position. And Brian Kelly came out and said it after the spring game, that he considers defensive tackle to be the position he has to address more than any other. Didn't even name another. So that is their focus. And look, he said that after they've already landed one transfer this spring in Wisconsin's Gio Paez, a defensive tackle. So I would expect, Matt, from talking to sources, that they're going to add at least 1 more, probably 2 more, but they've got to beef up the trenches. They know it. They lost Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson and Wingo, who were all the guys that, kind of really contributed a year ago beyond Guillory. So that's the focus. Now, I think anything else beyond that is, what do you want to address a need position? Do they view it that as a corner? I don't know. They've got a lot of guys in those rooms. It's just a matter of who it's going to be. If Trey Holly is on the team, Matt, I think running back is one that they don't necessarily have to address, because it seems that they're okay with 4. I'm kind of watching, and I know no one really cares about it, but punter. And after the spring game, Kelly didn't seem very high on the performance they had, at least during the game. And for, 2 years, we just saw Jay Bramblett come from Notre Dame, a guy who had played for Kelly, and then carry Kelly through those first 2 years in terms of being the punter. Well, he's gone now. So will it be Todd, or do they get active again at that position? That's one I'm kind of keeping an eye on.
That's a good point. And that's putting it mildly. I mean, Brian Kelly said point blank that he thought Peyton Todd had an opportunity to go win the job, and he didn't do that. He wants him to be more consistent, so it's definitely a competition. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Hey, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned secondary as well. I want to talk about DJ Pickett, who, Shea, I know, is he going to play corner at the next level? And I know he was here. Can you give us any update there on Pickett?
Yeah, so Pickett was in town this past weekend as part of that big kind of 5-star visitor weekend they had. You mentioned Bryce Underwood, Harlem Berry, 2 of their commitments that are 5-stars were in town. They had Khalil Lockett, a 5-star receiver, who's the number 2 receiver behind Decorian Moore, who they already have committed on campus with Underwood and Berry, so that was big. But on defense, yes, Pickett was the headliner, and he had originally been ranked as a safety, but LSU and many other colleges were recruiting him at corner, and I think at this point everybody in the industry looked at it and said, okay, this is a guy we should probably move and rank his corner. So he went from the number 1 safety in the country to the number 1 corner in the country and ranks within the top 5 right now on 3. So, yes, they are very much in the mix. Corey Raymond recruited him at Florida, so obviously he's kind of picked up where he's left off. And I'll note that, and this doesn't have to happen often, Corey Raymond gets hired, and they get rolling mid-January. And February is all a dead period. Pickett's already visited LSU 3 times. He visited in January, in March, and now in April for the spring game. They're the team to beat, if not tied for the team to beat, and I think that I feel pretty good about saying that now. I don't think he's committing tomorrow or anything, but it feels good if I'm an LSU fan to say, okay, Corey Raymond's back, and these are the type of guys that we're really in the mix for, which is 6'2" and above, long, can run, and in this case are ranked very high and a 5-star.
Yeah, Shea, it's pretty obvious when you look at LSU secondary the last 2 years, just the guys running around out there don't look like the guys how they used to look when LSU was that great decade-long run under Corey. Can you elaborate just a little bit? Because Brian Kelly mentioned this post-spring game as well. He was asked about Corey and Bo Davis, and the way Brian Kelly said it was, we've had guys in here the last 3 months that don't look like guys that we've had there the past couple of years, meaning recruits. Can you elaborate just on, just in these several months here, Shea, what adding Bo and Corey has meant to LSU's this recruiting class for 2025?
I mean, I think first off, it gives you an obvious veteran experience, and that's not a knock on Robert Steeples, but that was his first college coaching job, and it's being cornerbacks coach at LSU. And then you go back to a Corey Raymond, who has been here, he's done it. He's coached for more than a decade at LSU. He was the longest tenured member of that staff whenever Brian Kelly showed up, and obviously shook things up and kind of brought in his own staff. So he's got the experience. Bo Davis has done it at Bama, Texas. Now he's back at LSU. He knows all of that. But I think beyond that, because they've been around so long, they understand types. And Corey Raymond, for better or worse, right? And often for better, because in this case it works. But look at a Corey Raymond. It's 6'1", 6'2", or above. It's long-arm guys who can turn and have proven track speed. And even if you're not that huge guy, you're Dante Jackson. You can make up for it with the fastest speed on the field. So I think they kind of got away from that for a bit, and now that they're kind of Corey Raymond's back, they are now taking the approach of you're seeing these types of guys come on campus who fit that bill, whether it's DJ Pickett or Dorian Brew. These are kids with track backgrounds who have height and length and obviously can man up, which is kind of a big priority for him if you can't play man and really get physical with the guy and then keep with him when he goes vertical on you, then you kind of don't get an offer. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And I think LSU will trend back towards having those type of defensive backs that they're used to having, they're used to watching at least.
A couple more for you here, Shea. Was anybody else from this weekend or other prospects worth keeping an eye on that could pop here soon?
I think that JT Lindsey we knew. after he got an offer that it probably wouldn't be long. Now I think we're in the spot where we're watching the defensive line because Bo Davis is at a spot where they don't have any defensive linemen committed yet, but he also put together his board. He's had a ton of guys in. The guys that LSU was recruiting before he got here and now are almost like 75% different. And I think, again, LSU went however many years, Matt, with a new D-line coach every single year. So you never built any relationships with guys before you moved on to the next coach. So I think he's got some connects from Texas that will end up paying off. I think they'll end up landing some defensive linemen from Texas. I just don't know when these dominoes will start to fall. But now that spring practices are over, May or next week, they'll be out on the road during the eval period. And then in May is when the official visits start. So I bet by May they've added a few more guys to what is currently 12 commitments, and they want to shoot for typically 25 to 30.
Well, Shea, my last question was going to be about the timeline, but you just kind of punctuated it there. So fruitful weekend for the Tigers and onward for this class of 2025, which is shaping up to look really good. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon and good enough to join us here every Tuesday. We appreciate it, Shea. Thanks, man.
Yep, we'll catch up again next week.
All right, be well. Good stuff from Shea, as always. It's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Was actually over at, I swung by Pluckers earlier today to go see RP3, D-Lo, and Mesh from our affiliate ESPN 1037 in Lafayette. They were doing their show there at Pluckers. They're in town for the baseball and softball games today. And Ray, RP3, was asking me about my Atlas Crossport, and he saw it pulled up right there in front. And yes, I actually drive an Atlas Crossport, and for more than a decade now, Volkswagens are all that Eric and I have driven. We're a believer in the brand, love the style, the feel, the performance of luxury. It works for our budget as well. And for me, I'll tell you, the real peace of mind I get are the safety features. When Erica's driving, when she has Drew in the car, when I have Drew in a car seat with me, I know I'm in one of the safest vehicles on the road. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. It's worth test driving a Volkswagen from South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, the portal window is open. We'll kind of take a little checklist so far, just in half a day so far with the portal officially open, what it's looking like, some of the big names around the conference. So we'll get to that here in just a smidge. WNBA draft was last night. We'll talk about Angel Reese. The Caitlin Clark contract is turning a lot of people's heads, but it illustrates an interesting decision that she made in choosing the WNBA, but we'll get to all of that. Ton to do, and glad you're with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have lunch tomorrow with my guy Matt Rick and Paul Ragusa over at River City's 1 Hour Air. Trying to do that, every quarter or so, go to lunch, kind of go over how the business is going and how the campaigns are rolling. And one thing that I always am able to share with them and they share with me are so many of your satisfied customer 5-star reviews. This is one from Barrett Smelly, who said all of the technicians that they have been outstanding representatives for the company. An A+ for Cody, who came out today, thanks to River City's 1 Hour Air. Another 5-star Google review. And listen, I tell you that and I'm not saying it flippantly, it's true. They've got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor because they've been in business for 40 years, providing exceptional customer service. Listen, when you have an HVAC technician come to your house and you're not, like, none of us are HVAC techs. We don't understand all that. You want things explained simply and in a fair way, and they do that. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
Hot summer sun over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Live After 5 is back this spring. Clock out and rock out with us Fridays from April 12th through May 24th in downtown Baton Rouge for the free concert series 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another season filled with incredible music, delicious food, talented artists, and a lively second line parade. This Friday, come out to see Kenny Neal for Live After 5.
We're supposed to have Jayson Swain with us in hour 3 for our SEC spring recap looking at the Vols, and he just texted me and said one of the big donors invited him to the baseball game today that starts at 6 Eastern. So it's 5 o'clock. We have Swain on our rundown at 5:15. He said, I can duck away from high volume and noise. So I replied to him, there ain't any noise at that high school stadium.
It's a bold move after giving last weekend.
Well, he replied, sounded boring during the sweep, except for the bags cracking. I think he meant bats. Yeah. And I should probably tell him as well, Swain's not a baseball guy. The bats don't crack in college. They ping. They're metal bats. And so then I replied, well, imagine how it would sound if you losers ever won in Omaha.
Well, there it is.
Yeah. And he put, I don't recall Omaha.
We know. That's the point there of the, yeah.
There we go. And college bats don't crack. They ping. Got him. I mean, do you want to get Swain on before? You want to see if Swain and John want to flip?
Yeah, we can do that.
So let's see if we can make that happen. Let's see. Would you mind just see if those two?
Let me see
if those two want to flip. That would be great. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here today. The transfer portal did officially open. Just some of the headlines from around the Southeastern Conference. Jacoby Matthews officially entered the portal. He's the 19th scholarship player from A&M to hit the portal since November. Played in 10 games as a freshman, 11 games this past season. You remember he's out of Ponchatoula, his former 5-star safety. We talked a lot about his recruitment when it happened. And look, I mean, it was a weird thing where, in part, when LSU was able to flip Harold Perkins, probably freed up some NIL money. They were able to throw at Jacoby to lock him down. But A&M's defense has been gutted. Walter Nolan's now at Ole Miss. LT Overton is at Alabama now. Defensive end Fadil Diggs went to Syracuse. Now Jacoby Matthews out. So Mike Elko's losing a ton of talent on that side of the ball, obviously. One of the big questions is if Jacoby would end up coming back to LSU. Remember, the SEC has a rule whereby it disallows intra-conference transfers in the spring portal window, meaning you can't transfer within the SEC in the spring portal. So had Jacoby Matthews entered the portal after the season, of course, he could have transferred here. He didn't. Now that the spring portal window is open, he's in, so we'll see where he goes. Listen, my feeling on this is, this is no secret, and we talked about it at the time around his commitment out of high school. That's a kid that desperately wanted to go to LSU. It was a dream school type scenario, as it was explained. It's where he wanted to be, but sometimes the school makes you the offer you can't refuse. So, and I was told a lot of the numbers at the time, and it felt negligible, but who's that for anybody to decide? You make the decision you feel is best for you, your family, whatever. So I wish the kid well. I would love to see him at LSU because be an incredibly talented safety in a spot where you need defensive backs. But unless if they wanted to go challenge that SEC rule in a court of law, it's unlikely that Jacoby would end up at LSU. But we'll keep you posted there. Two other things. Caden Proctor has officially re-entered the portal. Remember Caden Proctor? He was the 5-star offensive tackle, played his freshman year at Bama, went in the portal, committed to Iowa before ever practicing at Iowa, went back in the portal, and now is heading back to Alabama. So he's in the portal, and it's on his portal profile. There is a do not contact designation on there. So Caden Proctor heading back to Alabama. That's a big get there for Kalen DeBoer to get him back. And Tennessee linebacker Elijah Herring also has entered the portal. He'll have he started 11 of the 12 games this past year at linebacker, at inside backer. He'll have 2 years of eligibility remaining. He's originally out of Tennessee. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see what players at positions of need might pop up, speaking from an LSU perspective, because while Brian Kelly, after the spring game, very clearly said the only position they would really be targeting would be defensive tackle, that could change if there's a must-take player that hits the portal at another position. Maybe it's running back, maybe it's cornerback, could be linebacker. We'll see. So we'll just keep an eye as the portal's officially open and what that might mean for LSU as they move through this time. All right, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. We were going to talk a little bit about the WNBA draft, and obviously one of the things we saw during the NCAA tournament was Angel Reese have her contact lens popped out. A lot of you pointed out the same thing. Let's get Angel connected with Dr. Blake Williamson. And we are working to that end, by the way. So I would love it if that is able to happen, and we're able to tell you about Angel and Dr. Blake being able to finish that, get her refractive surgery. I tell you all the time, no matter your age or your refractive issue, if you want to throw away those contacts and glasses, be done with contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen like they've done for thousands upon thousands of Louisianians for over 75 years. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. You can email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. One thing I do want to tell you, though, if you text, there's just a software upgrade going on the text platform that I use, and so I can't reply. I haven't been able to reply for the last 2 days. So it's gonna happen eventually here, but I'm reading your text. I just can't reply to them right now personally. So in any event, and by the way, Tremaine did point out, we're talking about LeBron in the Open. Kyrie won the series against Golden State. No, I remember. He was awesome. And listen, but it was also a thing where Kevin Love got injured, and I will tell you that of all of LeBron's titles, the one, if you weren't here in the Open, I basically ran through the playing game. I didn't want to give you another. Everyone's broken down this game and ad nauseum, and I get it. And I didn't want to go through another, what's your shooting percentage? And look for this. We had some fun, and I talked about why. Yes, I think competitively, you would love to see the Pels lose tonight, win on Friday, and play OKC in a 1-8 matchup, because I think the Pels have a better chance of advancing if they had a 7-game series against OKC than if they get the 7 seed and play Denver. But I would love to see the Pels and LeBron in street close this season tonight in the blender. So we had some fun with that at the open of the show. If you missed it, you can catch it on demand. AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. But yes, Kyrie was awesome in that series, but it's undeniable that LeBron's most legitimate championship of his 4 is the one in Cleveland. You have to give that team and that man their credit. They beat a team. They came from down 3-1 to beat a team that won 73 games. I mean, that's undeniable. The 2-2 record in the finals in Miami, I mean, that feels like a total wash. And I laugh at the notion of counting the summer camp title that they won down in the bubble in Disney in front of nobody. So they can count it if they want. They got the trophy. They can get the rings, whatever. But every championship is viewed through the lens and how history and fans and the public remember championships and titles. And I think there's one of the 4 that LeBron has that I would actually say, hell yeah, job well done. I would like Dirk's one that he got in Dallas, I think has more validity to it than the other 3 that LeBron got. Like the one Kawhi got in Toronto has more validity than any of the other 3 that LeBron got. The one Jokic got last year, more validity than any of the ones LeBron won in Miami or the summer camp title. So history can do with it what they want. LeBron's a great player, but he is a conflicting superstar. His legacy is undeniable. The wins, the scoring record, the years played, the dominance, the 20-time All-Star, 13-time first-team All-NBA. I mean, it's undeniable. But you're talking about how you stack him in the rarefied air conversation of the greatest ever, and he's always going to be knocked down a few pegs. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break. We're brought to you by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, I do want to talk quickly about Angel Reese, the WNBA draft last night. I can't believe that we're going to talk about the WNBA draft, but the thing that is getting the most attention is Caitlin Clark's contract, and it begs the question, is she doing the right thing going to play in the WNBA? We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 awesome hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, if you're looking to host an event, either the Watermark or the Renaissance are great options for you. The Watermark Downtown is gorgeous, great place. So many people have wedding receptions at the Watermark. It's a beautiful place to do it. And the Renaissance, with their grand ballroom, it can host as many as 500 people. So if you're having a fundraiser or an awards banquet or something like that, even a larger wedding reception. But the really cool thing, man, you call Allison over at the Renaissance, she always says, like, we're in the business of saying yes. So whatever type of event you're trying to hold, they're going to make it work. If they have to combine rooms, if they have to use giant lobby space, whatever, like, they're going to make it work. And it's just such a gorgeous and convenient facility. It's the Renaissance Hotel. The Watermark Downtown, the Renaissance Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet across from the mall and Perkins Row. You can't miss it. And be sure you check out Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150s, $10,000 off the new F-150 truck, plus 1.9% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Muse, it's getting tired, man. You playing that same song over and over again.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know
Sure
what you're
you
talking
do.
about. No, I don't.
You keep playing that sexy tractor song.
There's a new
I mean,
song.
look, I get it. Tractors are sexy.
They're good, man. Especially John Deere's.
Big green ones.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, it was pretty cool riding one of those big old. I could ride one of those big like compounds. You know what I mean? And they programmed into the little dash thing the AFR logo, and so they just hit go, and then it just drove around and drew AFR in this big field. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Now that's not really a practical and functional use for a gigantic piece of farm equipment. It's probably better for farming, yielding a crop. Yeah. But I had fun.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
What if you can legally drink beer while driving a tractor? I don't know.
Probably not.
In the field? I don't know.
Probably
no one's out
not.
there in the field. I don't want to be alone because here's why I ask. I don't know. Don't know. You sit in one of those big cabs. It's air conditioned. They got Bluetooth. It's comfortable. And, and then they got like this built-in ice chest thing. I'm like, man, I can put a little 6-pack in there.
Got a TV?
I don't think I saw a TV.
It's the one thing. Next model.
Could mount a phone or a tablet, something like that. And then then just pop a few cold ones and just hit the button and let it do all the work.
Yeah. I don't think you can drink beer while driving that though.
I need a ruling. Your official tractor of the LSU Tigers, official partner of LSU Athletics. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Grace, let me know if you can drink beer in a tractor. She's probably listening right now. She'll let me know. The farmers actually the ones that would let me know. Because that's a better question, all right? I live in rural Louisiana. I got 1,000 acres. I'm on my tractor. Who's coming out there to arrest me?
I'm not saying nobody. Like you can do it. You just asked if it was legal. And
That's
I
what
said
I'm
it's
saying.
probably not legal, but yeah, you could probably get away with it easily.
Probably right on both accounts. Okay, WNBA draft last night. Angel Reese, this is how it sounded when she was picked 7th overall by the Chicago Sky.
With the 7th pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Angel Reese, LSU.
Here was Angel reacting. Yeah, sorry.
Excited. I get to play with Camilla. I've been playing against her since high school, so I'm excited to play with Camilla, and Teaspoon is amazing, and she's done some great things, and I'm excited to be coached by her.
How about that? Teresa Weatherspoon, of course, former Louisiana Tech, a Lady Techster, who will be her coach there in Chicago. Camilla Cardoso from South Carolina. She and Angel Reese, who Remember, it was Kim who said to Camilla, hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? Go after Angel Reese, a little fracas, the thing they had there in the SEC tournament. Now they're teammates, Camilla and Angel Reese are. That'll be a pretty dominant combo there with those two. Yeah?
Great word, too, fracas. That's a good, I like fracas. That's a good, yeah. It's a good one.
F-R-A, fracas.
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 Fracas. Fricka-fracas.
Ruckus.
Ooh, that.
Fracas. Yeah. Caitlin Clark, of course, went number 1 overall. And there's a lot of people today that are talking about her contract. And this is one of the things when we were talking several weeks back about if Caitlin Clark should go to the WNBA or return to Iowa. And my contention was she's got more value at Iowa because women's college basketball has more of a platform than the WNBA. That's undeniable just with the TV contract and the opportunities for exposure. So Caitlin Clark's rookie deal with the Indiana Fever, 4 years for a total of $338,056. She's going to make $76, $78, $85, $97 in her 4 years there with the Indiana Fever. Now, obviously, she's got massive endorsement deals already with State Farm and with Buick, Xfinity, Nike, Gatorade. So she's got got a $1 million deal with Panini for a trading card. So Caitlin Clark she's going to make money because of all her endorsement deals. But the real question is, would she have more value in college? Now, you'd still have to go to school. She would still have value. I mean, she is bringing the value. The WNBA isn't propping up Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is propping up the WNBA, which is why I would have looked at the Big 3 deal from Ice Cube and taken my $5 million and gone and played in that. Or done them both, either way. But a new day for the WNBA. We'll see if it matters. We'll see if she's able to translate and carry all of that interest over into the next level. All right. It's after further review. Put a button here on hour number 1. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, Mel Kiper, new mock draft, 3-round mock draft. And is Ryan Ramczyk actually done? We'll talk about it.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski the Bucks are preparing to be without star Giannis Antetokounmpo for the start of their first-round playoff series against the Pacers, but do hope treatment on his calf strain will allow him to play at some point. ESPN NBA analyst Austin Rivers.
They absolutely need Giannis to win. They struggled beating the Pacers with Giannis. We've always talked about the Pacers having the Bucks' number really throughout the season. I'm not saying that the Bucks can't steal a win here, but if you're asking me, do I think the Milwaukee Bucks can beat the Pacers 4 out of 7 games without their best player and key player? Giannis, absolutely not.
Blake Griffin, the top overall pick in the 2009 NBA draft, announced his retirement from the league. Michigan got 3 years probation, was fined, and hit with recruiting restrictions for recruiting violations during the pandemic under former football coach Jim Harbaugh. Rory McIlroy told the Golf Channel he plans to finish his career on the PGA Tour. He denied a report he'd been offered $850 million to move to LIV Golf. Baseball Hall of Fame manager Whitey Herzog died at the age of 92, guided the Cardinals to a World Series title in the 1980s.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You sue. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Jayson, Swain, bottom of this hour. Continue our SEC spring recaps. Look at the Vols. We'll head to Arkansas next hour. Talk to our buddy John Nabers. And we will head to the Blender. Jake Madison will be here in about 90 minutes from right now. Give us a scene setter, final look before LSU and the Lakers. Throw it up, tip it off for the play-in coming up at the Blender tonight. All right, it's after further review. I'm glad to have you hanging out with us here. Always appreciate our friends at Sunshine, official partner of LSU Athletics, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Real quick, earlier today, I was driving in. I was listening to Hester and T-Bob on Off the Bench, and they had Nick Underhill on. Of course, Nick does a great job, New Orleans football. And it struck me, there's been a lot of conversation this offseason, naturally, about Ryan Ramczyk. We've talked about it, as has everybody, right? And Dennis Allen at the Combine seemed optimistic about Ramczyk's future. And then at the owners' meetings, Dennis Allen seemed decidedly less optimistic about Ryan Ramczyk and how they're going to take it slowly, and you get closer and see how they manage it. Well, Nick, who is as plugged in as anybody on the Saints beat, obviously has great information, was on OTB today, and he gave this opinion about Ryan Ramczyk. Just give a listen.
I just don't see him playing again. I just, like, if I had to bet today, you're asking me to go to draft and place a bet on it. Like, I'm betting on him not playing. And
so that was just a very short bite, right? And he gave a longer explanation. I would highly recommend you go listen to it on demand, go watch it on YouTube, and see the full interview that the guys did with Nick. But when someone like Nick says that, my antenna goes up. And it wasn't declarative in the sense that he was breaking news. He was very clear, like, that was an opinion. And maybe it's something where they treat it this year, and contractually it might make more sense if he retires, as post-June 1 next year. So there's a lot of that there. Now, again, I would highly recommend, for context, you go listen to the entire thing. I'm not going to play like the full 5-minute back and forth here, but go check it out. But when you hear that, and Nick saying based on all the information he has, he'd have to think Ramczyk doesn't play. Well, if that's the case, and that dramatically alters not your target, because I think we all know that the Saints have to target offensive tackle in this draft. That it's not a want, it's not a need, it's not even a must. Whatever a must times a bajillion is, that's what offensive tackle is for the Saints. You don't have a left tackle. Of course, last year you rotated players there. Trevor Penning couldn't cut it. Andres Pete ended up playing left tackle for you. James Hurst played some left tackle before his injury. So you don't have a left tackle, and the guy who's your franchise right tackle might be done. So you might be going into this offseason, and remember, Andres Pete's still a free agent, so he was really, for part of last season, where you're starting left guard, you might be replacing 3 offensive linemen this year. Now, your line wasn't any good last year, so that's a big part of going, all right, well, could it really be any worse? But you want to fortify that group. The only way that Derek Carr can get better within this offense is if he's upright. The only way your running game can improve is if they have holes to run through. So, yeah, you need to fortify your line. So tackle has become just the absolute must. Like, I don't know how the Saints at 14 do anything other than tackle unless if they trade up to take a tackle. But if they stay at 14, you got to pick the best tackle that's on the board. Mel Kiper and Field Yates did like a dueling mock draft where Mel picked first, Field picked second, Mel picked third, Field picked fourth, so on and so forth. When it got to the 14th pick, it was Field Yates, and of course he picked Olu Fashanu from Penn State. And this is the guy that I've told you for weeks and weeks and weeks that he's my dream scenario target if he's on the board. I'd love for the Saints to pick him at 14. And Field Yates notes that New Orleans' offensive tackle situation is too murky to ignore, and Fashanu would be an ideal combination of need and value. The Saints can slot him in either right or left side, depending on Ramczyk's status and what they decide to do with Trevor Penning. So, look, I think they'll continue to say, man, I don't know that Trevor Penning is going to play tackle in the NFL. But it stands to reason when you have a guy that's big and physical like he is, that he should be able to help you in the run game. You put him in a phone booth. So if you put him at left tackle, and you sandwich in between a really good center and Eric McCoy and left guard. You sandwich in between a really good center and Eric McCoy and whoever is your left tackle. Maybe it's a rookie in Fashanu. You'd be very young on the left side of your line there with a third-year player in Penning, who, of course, missed the majority of his rookie season and only started a handful of games this past year before going to the bench. And then a rookie potentially in Fashanu, whoever it may be. That's not ideal, but it does set you up potentially for the future with 2 young guys on the left side who could continue to get better. It just continues to strike me how every mock draft that you look at, and especially if it's a 2-round mock, it's always tackle at 14, receiver at 45. And this one's no different. Mel Kiper made the pick for the Saints at 45 in this dueling mock draft, and he had the Saints taking Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. He notes Pearsall played with Jaden at Arizona State before transferring to Florida. And you do need wide receiver help. And so it's going to be a question of who do the Saints feel is the best wide receiver on the board at 45, provided that's where they go. And sometimes the way that I look at it is, all right, well, who else is on the board at the time you pick? And one pick after the Saints, they have Jalen Polk out of Washington going to the Colts. And I don't know, man, maybe it's just his size, but I kind of think that Polk would be a better prospect than Pearsall. Although Pearsall was a productive player. Candidly, got to meet and interview Ricky at SEC Media Days last year in Nashville. Good dude who interestingly, not only did Pearsall play with Jayden Daniels at Arizona State, but he was roommates with Jordan Clark, Ryan Clark's son, at Arizona State. So a lot of connections there, and everybody raves about him. He was great to interview, got tons of swag, and made some brilliant catches last year for Florida. But you wonder, like, is there maybe a more accomplished or bigger-bodied receiver who might project better? I don't know, but so much of that just comes down to how do you have your board set up. But tackle, receiver at 14:45, it's just hard to imagine the Saints going any other way, and especially if things are trending that direction with Ryan Ramczyk, where maybe he's not able to play ever again, then I don't know how there's any other decision you can make if you're the Saints. All right. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Real quickly, tell you about Relief Windows. I'll tell you where the Kuiper Yates mock draft had the LSU guys going. But Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com, energy-efficient replacement windows. There's beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. And the thing that I'll always tell you, if you're thinking of replacing your windows, my next-door neighbor this week had their windows replaced by Relief Windows. I didn't even know, but pulled out of my garage to bring Drew to school, and there was a big Relief Windows trailer right in front of the neighbor's house. They were replacing all the windows in their home. If you're just shopping price, if you're going to call 5 companies to see who's going to come out and give you the best price, don't call Relief Windows, because they're not going to be the cheapest. They can't be the cheapest. When you offer the highest quality windows, when you pay the best people, so your measure techs, they measure twice to install once. Your windows, every window is custom made for your home. You have a full service department. Ask other companies. You have a service department? I don't mean like you have somebody that could come. I mean a full department dedicated to doing nothing other than servicing clients who have issues. Relief Windows does. Does anybody else offer you a lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage? Relief Windows does. That's why you go with Relief Windows, because they're the best, and they'll never take $1 from you until they're done, and you're thrilled. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. So just very quickly, they've got Field Yates made the pick at 2. Got Jayden Daniels going to the Commanders. These are the ones we all expect, right? Jayden to the Commanders, Malik Nabers 6 to the Giants. These are the most commonly mocked teams, so no different here. Brian Thomas, 17 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it makes sense if you're Jacksonville. You got Trevor Lawrence, but remember, Calvin Ridley no longer there in Jacksonville, so it stands to reason they would go receiver at 17. As a matter of fact, I did an interview on 1010XL in Jacksonville yesterday specifically about Brian Thomas, because it seems very much like that's where he's being mocked and very likely where Brian Thomas could end up. And then the other one that I think everyone's going to keep an eye on in round 2 is Mason Smith and where he may land. And in this 3-round mock from Field Yates and Mel Kiper, they got Mason Smith going 42 overall to the Houston Texans. So he'd be in the top half of round 2, and I think that'd be a huge win for Mason Smith. Whenever they went to the Combine, we talked about that. I felt Brian Thomas had the most to lose and Mason Smith had the most to gain. Brian Thomas, because if he went to the Combine and didn't perform well, it's such a deep receiver draft that you could drop. That's what happened to Keon Coleman. But Thomas goes and runs a sub 4.4 and solidified himself as a first-round pick. So Brian Thomas aced his test. And similar to Mason Smith, where I said he had the most to gain, because physically we know what Mason Smith is. And if he went there and showed off all of his physicality and athleticism, there's going to be a team that falls in love with the athlete and says we can coach him, because there just aren't many humans that are 6'5", 310 that move like that. Mason Smith is that guy. Cool. Take him. We got something to work with. It's the Al Woods scenario. Al Woods was a 4th-round pick of the Saints and didn't even make the team. Mason Smith looks like he's going to go a lot higher than round 4. We'll find out coming up a week from Thursday, the NFL draft. And we'll be over at Don Juan Cigar Bar for our draft show. We hopefully hope that you'll all come out and watch the draft with us. We're looking forward to it. If you can't be with us, join us on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Okay, quick break. When we come back, we'll visit some more of what Brian Kelly had to say coming out of spring, in particular looking at the needs that still persist in the transfer portal and where they might go. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I was chatting with Miss Teresa over at Clegg's yesterday, and it's such a fun time of year to get by there. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. When winter comes and it's the fall and you get to start talking about poinsettias and Christmas trees, yes, that's a lot of fun. But the spring, like when you think of spring, you think of colors and vibrance and life and flowers and everything coming in bloom. Your yard is green again. Your neighbors are mowing the grass. You're planting flowers. You're trimming your trees and your shrubs. Like, that's when we all think about Clegg's. And it's an awesome time to get by. Every single day, they've got truckloads of new flowers coming to fill their greenhouses. The Segan Lane location, they expanded their greenhouse this year because they just had to be able to keep more inventory. It's Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations: Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And
she climbs on up, open up a throttle and stir a little dust. Just look at her face, she ain't a fooling me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, we're going to head up to Knoxville in about 15 minutes from right now. Jayson Swain will join us, continue our SEC spring recaps. we'll take a look at Tennessee. No, look, Hendon Hooker 2 years ago, they were one of the most explosive offenses in college football. They thought it would continue last year with Joe Milton. It didn't. So now you look and go, okay, it's Nico's turn. Super exciting young prospect. Where does the pendulum swing? Is it closer to what they were with Joe Milton, or does it look more like what it did a couple of years ago with Hendon Hooker? We'll start to get those answers. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. I do want to talk a bit about Brian Kelly and sort of some of the portal targets here as LSU looks ahead. LSU baseball is back on the diamond tonight, though. They'll take on UNO. This is, I guess, always kind of interesting, of course, when LSU and UNO get together. There's always the Blake Dean component of this, who was one of the greatest players ever at LSU, part of the 2009 National Championship team. Kind of incredible. He's been at UNO for as long as he has, in his 9th year. Blake Dean's in his 9th year at UNO. And this is a UNO baseball team. It's 21-14 overall. They're 6-3 in league play, so Blake Dean's got them playing pretty good baseball. They just completed a 3-game sweep against Bluefield State. They're in Division II. I have no idea where Bluefield State is. I would assume that's Kentucky. Can we assume Bluefield State would be in Kentucky?
We can look it up.
Look up Bluefield State. Division II, Bluefield State. I mean, I know it's the Blue Grass. There's the Delaware Blue Hens. Where's Bluefield?
It is a public university in Bluefield, West Virginia.
Dang it! Well, Mitchell Sanford is at UNO, former LSU outfielder.
Doing quite well.
He's hitting leadoff for them. Batting 400. And team ERA of 5.83. So, look, I'll actually be out at the box tonight. Looking forward to getting out there. It'll be the first game that I actually get to attend this year. But get a look at these guys tonight against UNO. Hopefully the Tigers get a win before they hit the road again to take on Missouri. So LSU, UNO tonight. I understand that's not exactly be the meter mover, especially with the Tigers at 3-12 right now in conference play. But maybe it's an opportunity for Jay. People, I keep hearing this notion of like, well, Jay needs to play the younger guys. And I'm with you, by the way. It's several weeks back when they got off to a little bit of a rough start, the conversation was sort of, okay, look, do you rely on your veterans? Because the pre-conference slate was trying to get a lot of different guys experience, try to get a lot of different guys at bats and starts. And maybe the sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't part of that is, well, if you didn't play a lot of guys, maybe you don't keep everybody happy. The other side of that is by playing a lot of guys, you didn't allow guys to get in a rhythm. And everybody that we've had on here that's talked about those types of situations, especially the hitters, say, I want more at-bats. I want to be in the lineup every day. I want to be able to get into a rhythm and a groove and not feel like if I have an 0 for 4 night that I'm going back to the bench. So there's, you press and there's urgency. And so you kind of got to this point where you make the decision, do you play your young guys or do you lean on the veteran guys? Well, I think this weekend you saw, like, Jay is playing the young guys. I mean, Milam has been in the lineup all year. Sunday, you saw Jake Brown get a start. You've certainly seen Ashton Larson become an everyday member of the lineup, and Ethan Fry has gotten plenty of run. I mean, who else do you want to see? I mean, I guess in theory you could put Kuchrak, Milam as your middle infield, but are you going to – the tricky question right now is the biggest problem this team is having is they can't generate offense, and Michael Braswell has been your leading hitter in SEC play, so you're going to put the one guy that's actually produced at the most consistent clip for you in league play, you can put him on the bench when you can't hit. I don't know what else you'd like to see. We saw the young guys on the bump this weekend. It was great to see Aiden Moffitt and Cam Johnson get multiple opportunities this weekend. So I think Jay is leaning on his young guys right now. How much more is there to do? I don't know. What you really need are the guys who you were counting on to make a year-to-year step to do that, and that's just what hasn't happened. Where you had guys on the team last year like Pearson and Jones and Kling, guys that you expected to become from role players a year ago to stars this year. That hasn't happened. When you expected Mac Bingham to fill the role of veteran impact guy the way Gavin Dugas or Cade Beloso did, like that hasn't happened. Same with Braswell. So you've missed. You've just missed on a lot this year. And At this point, urgency is a massive understatement. You got 15 games to go. And yesterday we did the math if you were here. You're 3-12 right now. If you're looking, I thought DeLucci put it the best. You're not necessarily looking at a number. You're looking at your competition. If it's Auburn, if it's Ole Miss, if it's Missouri, like how do you not end up in the bottom 2 of the conference so you make sure you end up in the conference tournament? Well, that's more of the challenge right now. But I'm still going to say that's great. And yes, you want to be in the SEC tournament, but making the SEC tournament isn't a guarantee that you make regionals. So I still think 13 is your low water mark, barring an incredible run in Hoover. You got to get to 13, which means you got to go 10-5 the rest of the way in league play, which I don't know that feels doable with this team. You'll have to sweep very likely somewhere along the way because it's hard to imagine winning the series against Texas A&M. But stranger things have happened. See if the Tigers can get hot. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. If you need to buy tires, buy them where they're the cheapest. You get name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's Shaw Bills. And when you buy tires at Shaw Bills, you get Charlie's Dozen. That's a dozen benefits extended to you and every member of your family when you buy your tires at Shaw Bills. It's free tire rotations, balancing, tire repairs, all complimentary when you buy your tires at Shaw Bills. And, of course, the price match guarantee. It's simple, y'all. Buy your tires at Shaw Bills. This is how serious they are. Buy tires at Shaw Bills. If you see those tires advertised cheaper within 30 days, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. Like, they're going to give you the best price on tires, period. And they're going to keep you coming back year after year after year because they're going to treat you like family. It's Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. Brian Kelly, before the spring game, had this to say when he was asked about portal targets.
Brian, as you go into the offseason, like you said, kind of evaluating this roster, other than maybe defensive tackle, other positions that y'all might target in the transfer portal?
I don't see any other positions that we need to be in the transfer portal for other than the defensive tackle position, really.
I would say the exception there might be corner. If there is a cornerback that hits the portal, that's a must-take. You went and got Jair Brown from Ohio State. J.K. Johnson's healthy now. Zy Alexander's coming off of injury. And you got young guys from a year ago that are taking that step, right? But if there's a player that enters the portal that is a starter, like a starting cornerback, like if this year's version of Jark Bernard Converse hits the portal, it's a must-take. It's not even a conversation. If you have an opportunity to bring a starting caliber player into a room that was your undeniable weakest link a year ago, you do it. So we'll keep a look at what Brian Kelly and the Tigers may target here in this portal window as it opens up today. More importantly, some names. As a matter of fact, to start hour 3, I'll tell you some of the rumblings I've heard at defensive tackle. We know they've brought in Joseph Bleedy. I keep saying Joseph. Philip Bleedy. Why don't I keep saying Joseph? I don't know why that's in my brain. Defensive tackle from Indiana is a guy that they had on campus last week for a visit. But there's 2 other players that I've heard some rumblings about that we'll keep an eye on. We'll talk about as we start hour number 3. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Again, we're over this week and next, we're going to hit every single SEC campus for our SEC spring recaps. Yesterday, we looked at Ole Miss. When we come back from this break, our buddy Jayson Swain will be here. We'll look at Tennessee. Next hour, our buddy John Nabers will be here to look at Arkansas. So we'll keep checking those boxes. And you know what they say, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. So we'll continue our SEC spring recaps when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Of course, always encourage you to go to the website, Rouse's.com, and download the Rouse's app. Mostly because when you download the Rouse's app, you can learn more about your personal shopper. It's a great service that they offer. It's curbside pickup. You go to the app, and you download the Rouse's app, select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick out the items for you. And when you pull up into one of the designated spaces, they bring the items out to you absolutely free of charge when you spend more than $30. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And, man, is this incredible news. It's still spring, still crawfish season, and Rouse's is allowing you to enjoy crawfish affordably. Saw this over the weekend. Rouse's announced a pretty significant price drop alert on their live crawfish. You can now buy Louisiana live crawfish for $2.99 a pound only at Rouse's.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The best kept secret.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
The SEC Spring Recap on After Further Review, the Tennessee Volunteers.
All right, let's head up to Rocky Top. Our buddy Jayson Swain from Josh and Swain on the Sports Animal, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Swain, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm wonderful, man. Good to hear from you, man. I missed you. What's up?
I always miss talking to you, Swain, especially when we only get to talk about football. Not baseball and what happened up there this weekend at all, like just football, right? That's all we're talking is just football. Don't need to talk about Dalton Connect in Tennessee getting bounced in the tournament by Purdue.
Wow, okay.
Don't need to talk about LSU beating Tennessee last year in Omaha, single-handedly eliminating. We're just talking about football, right?
Correct. Yeah. Just football, man.
Okay.
Just football. I see what you're doing here, man.
I don't know at all what you're talking about there, Swain. Just football. I would not at all bring up Jamarcus in 2006 at Neyland going airborne, the 2001 SEC championship game. Not even talking about past football like that, Swain. Just like this year's Tennessee football team. That's all I want to talk about.
Yeah. This one, this football team.
Got it.
Yep.
So,
some of those guys were at the baseball game this weekend too, but we're just talking just football.
You broke up a little bit there, Swain. I don't think we caught you.
Oh, okay.
So I am really interested with Tennessee this year because 2 years ago, Hendon Hooker was awesome. I personally think he should have won the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago. Everyone expected or maybe hoped that Joe Milton would fit in the offense and just carry that forward. It didn't really work out. So now it's Nico, right? And I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. So coming out of spring, Swain, do we have any sense or feeling how close Nico might be to Joe Milton, how close he might be to Hendon Hooker?
Nico is a much more talented passer than both of those guys combined, honestly. I mean, Joe can throw it far. He has a rocket launcher of an arm, but the touch and the accuracy is something that has been questioned, and it's going to probably impact and influence him with his draft spot. Hendon improved as a passer, but it took some time for him. He went to Virginia Tech. He transferred here to Tennessee. He was really good here at Tennessee, but Nico's coming in as a freshman, being able to make every throw. He layers his throws. He throws better on the run with better accuracy than in the pocket. He's mobile. I mean, he's starting off right now, I think, as a passer better than both of those guys did here at Tennessee and at the beginning of their careers.
Look, I don't even think there's any doubt as far as just Swain as far as the star rating and all the physical ability, right? I mean, that's why he was so coveted. Are the weapons there as well in Knox? Like, who's emerged on the outside for him as the pass catchers this year?
Well, that's the question. I mean, last year's pass catchers, that room took a big slide down from the previous year where you had, Jalen Hyatt, who I think he had a couple touchdowns down there in Baton Rouge. He had a pretty good game. Yeah.
I thought we weren't talking about past, Swain.
Listen, I'm just trying to make a point here, Matt. Stop interrupting the guest, okay? Have some manners. Have some manners, Matt. Okay. But the pass catchers took a slide last year, but now they're better. Brew's going to come back. Brew McCoy's going to come back from a pretty rough injury. We got some transfer from Swain, Chris Braswell. You have a couple freshmen coming in. One's a 5-star receiver, and Mike Matthews, who did a really good job at the Orange and White game. Had a touchdown, long play, and so Nico has pass catchers. He has some tight ends, but the question is about the protection. I mean, you got to have depth at line. Tennessee was able to go get Lance Hurd from LSU. We talked to you about that. Very talented. He's going to play day one here. He's going to start day one here. But left guard is still up in the air, still a question about being able to protect Nico. In the bowl game, he was really good, Matt, but he still was sacked way too many times, and that's probably the question that you have with the Tennessee offense going into the season, and also a little bit of injury issues with the running backs. Dylan Sampson from Louisiana. I don't know why y'all let him get out, but we appreciate it. He went from number 3 back to now number 1 back, and it's a different role for him. And then 2 and 3 are going to be young guys, potentially freshmen and first-year starters. Well, those guys are coming off of an injury. One is coming off a shoulder procedure in Cam Selden, who won't be ready until beginning of September. And so that's the question about this running back room is will the depth hold up beyond Dylan Sampson?
Jason Swain's with us. He's on Twitter at Swain, event coach Jocelyn Swain. Go back to Hurd for a second. Is he going to play left tackle or right tackle? Where does he fit in on the line?
He's going to play wherever he wants to play, and that is left tackle, okay? Now, he's playing left tackle.
Okay.
So, John Campbell played left tackle last year, transferred from Miami. He's moving to right tackle, and Lance Hurd's going to play left tackle.
He's a great prospect. I mean, that's undeniable. He's a 5-star, and he's a big old massive human, and he can play right away. Is the offensive line, is that the weakness or the giant question mark as a whole on the offensive side of the ball for Josh Heupel?
No, I don't think it's a weakness.
Okay.
You got Cooper Banks, who's coming back. Now, this is why NIL is awesome, because you can reward the guys that have proved something. So you got Cooper Mays, who'll be a 5th-year senior. You got Javonte Spraggins, who's a 5th-year senior. You got John Campbell, who's, I want to say, like a 6th or 7th-year senior. My goodness. So he's coming back. Then you have Lance Hurd, who's very, very talented, but he'll be new inside this offense. And then you have the left guard position that's still up for grabs. There are a couple second and third string guys from a couple of years ago and that will fight for the number 1 spot. And so we'll see what happens there with the left guard spot. But as a group, I think they're very experienced. I think the question is going to be running back, and you can't afford to get Nico hurt because backup quarterback is former walk-on Gaston Moore. And so you couldn't really attract anybody from the portal because who wants to come and know they're going to sit behind Nico? I mean, Nico is the guy that you put all the chips in the middle of the table to go out and get. Everyone knows that. So you couldn't go out and get a really, really good transfer quarterback that can play anywhere because nobody wants to transfer somewhere and watch again. So that's the question with this offense. Got to keep Nico healthy. Playmakers on the outside have to make plays for him. The offensive line has to protect them. But the defensive line, I know you didn't ask me about this, but I don't care. I'm going to tell you anyway. It's important.
Please.
The defensive line is actually as important as the offensive line in protecting Nico because the defensive line can create havoc on opposing offenses and put them behind down the distance, create turnovers, get up in games. And when you do that, it allows Nico to play without all that pressure. You can run the football. You can be conservative. I think the defense will be very, very important in helping a first-time starter and Nico Iamaleava.
Staying on the defensive side, where else are the questions on defense for Tennessee?
Tennessee has a brand-new secondary, man. A lot of guys hit the portal. The portal door swings both ways. Players want to leave on their own, and coaches sometimes want to kind of nudge those players out through those doors. And I think that's what happened in the secondary. You got guys that want to get a certain number with NIL deals, and you can say no. Let those guys go find it somewhere else. I think that's kind of what happened. But it allowed Tennessee to go out and bring in some transfers. One, Jermon McCoy, who I think would be a pro corner from Oregon State. You brought in a safety from safety from Temple, excuse me. You brought in another safety from ETSU. So it'll be a brand new secondary. Ricky Gibson will probably start at corner. He was a freshman last year. He got some reps. He'll be a sophomore this year. But everybody else, man, pretty much will be new there in that secondary.
Swain, real quick, as a guy who played there, what value do you put on spring football?
I'm really trying to take this segment serious, Matt.
Okay.
You got all this cool music and spring preview Tennessee, and I'm trying to take it serious.
Spring recap. Spring recap.
Excuse me.
Recap.
Recap. Gotcha.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. I'm trying to take it serious. But here we are, man. It's 2024. And no one really gives a damn about spring games anymore. I mean, we did the orange and white game this past Saturday. And it was so boring because, like, the first 10 guys got a few reps, and the rest of it was all walk-ons and third-string guys. The real work is done when you don't have all the crowds there because who wants to show their stuff on TV? What coach wants to show them? Coaches are the most paranoid people to walk the earth. So they're not going to show anything. They're too afraid of guys getting hurt. But spring football is very, very valuable.
Okay.
Very valuable. But the spring game, not so much.
Yeah, no, that's more what I meant. I mean, and I obviously respect the opinion. I mean, you played at Tennessee. You were a captain. You played at a high level, man, on some great teams. So, so I'm not necessarily just saying the spring game, but as a whole. So you feel like there is value and merit for Josh Heupel and his team getting out there and getting those 15 practices during spring.
Yeah, but anytime you can go practice, I mean, you're going to get better. I mean, it's a chance to develop and go against each other and learn and put on the film.
I mean, Swain, the LSU defense practiced all last year. They didn't get no better, bro. They were bad.
That's fine.
I'm serious, bro. They practiced all year.
Though, man. They got an A for effort, though. I don't
know if I can even say that. All right, last thing for you.
Imagine if they didn't practice. It'd be even worse.
I don't think it could be worse, Swain. They were 106 in the country in total defense. I mean, they scored 49 at Ole Miss and lost. I literally don't think it could have been worse. I'm not even joking.
It could have been 107. It could have been 107. You got to be positive here.
It's negligible. I mean, if the defense didn't practice at all, I still think the season outcome is the exact same.
Probably.
Okay, look at the schedule. What is a realistic expectation? We're a ways away, but what's a realistic expectation for Tennessee this year?
Why are you doing this to me right now?
I'm not going to hold you to it. It's just for perspective. Like, spring is finished. Usually optimism abounds coming out of spring. I'm just looking at the schedule saying, okay, well, like, what are they realistically expecting up there? I'm not telling you to, like, take your life savings and go to a ticket window or to the DraftKings sportsbook and make a bet. I'm just saying, like, what do you think? I mean, is this a team that could fall toward 10-2 and make a playoff, or are you looking at an 8-4, 7-5 type year?
I think 9 wins is kind of where I am right now, baseline. I think the expectations that this team gets to the college football playoffs. Like, that's why you put all the effort in NIL. This is why you practice. This is why you do the things that you do to prepare. Ain't nobody got time to be winning 7 or 8 games and going to some, rinky-dink bowl game, man. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at trying to see what sports book this was, Swain, but FanDuel has the over under 9.5.
Well, FanDuel sounds like they know what they're talking about. That's all. And you know what, Matt? I'm going to see you this year, buddy, in Dallas. I'm seeing you in Dallas this year, buddy.
Are you really coming to Media Days?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I know it's around the corner from you, kind of, so I'm excited about it.
We literally
big on hug.
Swain, we literally booked our flights yesterday.
Ooh, okay. I got some work to do. Send me a link, man. I may get those hookups.
What you mean a link?
Yeah, a link. The Matt Moscona special flight discount link. To your boy.
I don't think the folks at American Airlines give a rip that I'm going to be flying their airline coming up in July to hop from Baton Rouge to Dallas. But you know what, Swain? I look forward to seeing you there. Dinner's on me one night.
All right, you got it, man. I'll take care of the waters, okay?
That's
all on me, baby.
Thank
Make
you.
it rain up here in Rocky Top.
Thank you, Swain. That is the one and only Jayson Swain, VFL, former Tennessee great, man. He was fun to watch in college. He was one of those kind of throwback guys, man. Played through a ton of injuries, gave it his all as a team captain. He'll tell you candidly, quite honestly, I mean, playing through injuries in college probably cost him his NFL career. But does a great job doing radio up there. Swain's been a great friend for a long time, man. We appreciate him. Okay. It's After Further Review. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Let me knock out a break. Come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. We'll head up to Arkansas in about 30 minutes from right now. Our buddy John Nabers will give us a look at the Hogs. With the portal open, I do want to go a little deeper dive into what I think LSU is going to do here in about 15 minutes. And I will tell you a little bit about what I think they can do financially in the portal as well. That's coming up at AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by our friends over at Action Industries. Of course, Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. I'm heading out to the box tonight after the show. Going to go watch LSU take on UNO. And every time Blake Dean makes that trek out to the mound for a mound visit, every mound visit all baseball season long, brought to you by Action Industries. Yes, Action Industries, a great industrial contractor doing awesome work for 42 years and all those petrochemical and refineries up and down the river. They're just an amazing company. I've really loved getting to know them. But they do so much more. They have fabrication shop services as well. They can also do exchanger tube cleaning. They do vapor abrasive blasting technology that cleans the tubes at pressures less than 100 psi. So don't send them to Texas to be dipped in a vat to clean them. It works. It's much safer than the alternative as well, and it's proven effective by the IRIS and the eddy current test. So check out our friends over at Action Industries, online or on LinkedIn, Action Industries.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. but our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
She says she's got a dream, and I ask what it is. She wants a little farm and a yard full of kids.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Musa, I can say from an undisclosed source that there have been a farmer or two known to maybe partake in an adult beverage while in the tractor. Let's say I might have gotten photographic evidence to suggest as much.
No shame in that whatsoever. They work hard, Matt. They're entitled.
You darn right.
They're entitled to a cool one.
No judgment
throughout
here.
the day.
Or you can grab a bottle of Evermore. Pretty pumped, man. A lot of people are drinking Evermore. I mean, it's a huge company as it is. I think more people are learning about it, though. And a lot of you I know are, because when people start sending me pictures of their water bottles, that's when I know our message is starting to take. So thanks to everybody who has shared on social or sent me on the text line bottles of Evermore. It's a Louisiana company. It's natural artesian water. I mean, it's a natural artesian well in Covington. They pipe down deep into the ground, into that natural well. They pipe the water out. They run it through the filter, basically just to get dirt and stuff from the ground out of it, and then it goes right in the bottle. There's nothing added or removed. It's Evermore. It's a rare alkaline source with a pH from 8.8 to 9.1. And most of all, it just tastes awesome. So the next time you're at the store, you're reaching for a bottle of water, remember, Evermore, E-V-A-M-O-R. Evermore is a Louisiana product. Don't support all these water brands from other places and out of the country. This is an amazing, all-natural source. It's a Louisiana company. It's Evermore. E-V-A-M-O-R. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. All right, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Jets offensive lineman Austin Deculus signed his tender on Monday evening.
Did you say Tinder?
His tender.
It sounded like you said Tinder.
His tender.
How about tender?
It's his tender, yeah.
His tender.
His tender.
See, Tinder is a whole other thing, Muse.
They're spelled the exact same.
No, you said Tinder, not tender.
Correct. T-E-N-D-E-R.
Yes, which
tender.
Is tender.
Like the number 10 and then der.
Tender, yes.
Tender, yeah.
You keep saying Tinder.
No, I'm saying tender.
That's better.
It's the same word. 10 and 10 are pronounced the exact same. Yes, they are. Stop it. Anyway,
one has an E and one has an I.
They're pronounced the same way.
Are you trying to suggest that an E and an I are pronounced the same way?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when they roll off the tongue. If I was to tell you 10, would you really assume I'm just saying about the metal or the number?
Well, you said 10 that time. You didn't say 10. And the first time you said Tinder.
I hear no difference in what you're saying at all. Like, I don't.
Or like you might actually be high right now.
No,
Tender and Tinder?
Okay, that time I did. But see, that illustrates my point.
Paul, like you're sitting over there next to him. Is your boy okay? Like, I don't know if he's being serious. Right?
I don't know. I can
like
tell
for the first time, I'm actually not sure if he's being serious.
I'm concerned too.
Can I just do this story?
Okay.
Okay, Deculus was a exclusive rights free agent. The Jets claimed him off waivers on November 13th after the Texans cut him. Did not play for New York at all last season. Did play 39 snaps at left tackles for the Texans before being cut. Now will remain with the New York Jets. Of course, it was the 6th-round pick out of LSU. Remember a few weeks ago, we told you here that Tyreek Hill he wasn't tweeting. He posted on his Instagram story that Odell to Miami was a done deal. Well, the GM for Miami, Chris Greer, said today that nothing is imminent between the Dolphins and Beckham, but offers have been exchanged. We'll see what goes with.
They've tendered him an offer?
They've offered. They've been exchanged. They've exchanged offers.
An offer has been tendered.
Let's just say they've exchanged offers with him. Last night was vintage Aaron Nola. Pitched into the 8th inning, 7 1/3, 1 run, 9 strikeouts. To make it even more vintage, he got a no decision because the Phillies only scored 2 runs and 1 in extra innings.
You know, I almost went there yesterday during the segment when you were previewing Nola's start. Decided not to, but probably should have.
Yeah. Jake Fraley got off to a great start last year. He's doing it again. 2 for 4 last night. Solo homer in the 7th inning. I mean, that ball got out in a hurry to the pull side. And that gives his first home run of the year. He's hitting .432 on the year. That's Tigers in the pros.
Portal is open. What is LSU looking at? We know Brian Kelly said defensive tackles. Let's kind of digest and dissect that. And how aggressive can LSU be with the ching-ching? We'll talk about it next. AFR.
AFR.
All right, we're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with more than 30 offices across 11 different states. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Hey, look, we are getting near, obviously, the harvest season, and if you're a farmer and you need your scales calibrated, of course you do, because even if it's off a fraction of a point, think about in aggregate how much that means. That's not just for farmers. That's for dozens of different industries. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, rents the products you use to weigh and measure. So you need your precision measurement devices calibrated. Michelli can help, and they're local. They can come to you. They can pick up your devices. They can even calibrate on site if you have devices that can't or you don't want to leave your facility. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They're a local option. They have the on-site option. And, of course, they got their track system. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. When the Bucks open up their first-round NBA playoff series against the Pacers Sunday, Giannis Antetokounmpo will likely be a spectator. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Milwaukee's preparing to be without the two-time league MVP for the start of the series. They hope treatment on his calf strain will allow him to return at some point. It is possible, though, Milwaukee does okay in Giannis's absence, points out ESPN senior NBA writer Andre Snellings.
In some ways, the Bucks might match up a little better against the Pacers specifically without Giannis. Because when Giannis plays, for one, they're locked into their too big style. And so, you know, with Giannis out, they can play more single big man, you know, more current today NBA size.
Andre Snellings on Freddie and Harry. Blake Griffin, the top overall pick in the 2009 NBA draft, announced his retirement from the league. Michigan got 3 years probation, was fined, hit with recruiting restrictions for recruiting violations during the pandemic under former football coach Jim Harbaugh. Braves second baseman Ozzie Albies placed on the injured list with a fractured right big toe.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Commercial Insurance. It flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. We'll head up to Arkansas in about 15 minutes. Our buddy John Nabers will be here with us. We continue our SEC spring recaps. We'll hit each SEC market here over the next couple of weeks. Talking a little bit about how the SEC schools have done as they wrap up spring and head toward the 2024 season. Yesterday we did Ole Miss. Last hour, Jayson Swain was here talking Tennessee. We'll talk about the Hogs here in about 15 minutes. Today, the transfer portal window opened, the spring portal window. It'll be open for a couple of weeks. And just as a reminder, I think everybody knows this by now, but just as a refresher, players can only enter the portal during these 2-week portal windows. You don't have to select your school during that time, but you can only enter your name into the portal during that window. Unless if you're a graduate student. If you're a graduate student, then you can enter the portal whenever you want and transfer whenever you want. There is also the SEC rule, which disallows intra-conference transfers from the spring portal window. So SEC players at SEC schools that enter the portal in this window cannot transfer within the conference. One of the big names already that's gone into the portal is Jacoby Matthews, the 5-star safety out of Ponchatoula, who was down to LSU A&M, picked A&M. He's been with the Aggies the last 2 years. He officially went into the portal today. Well, LSU would be a very natural fit for him. However, it doesn't seem like that would be possible because of that SEC rule. Now, if he wanted to challenge it, we'll see if something might go that way, as has been kind of discussed, but I don't know if that's something that will happen or could happen. So we'll keep our eye on it. What I did want to talk about a little bit here was the LSU approach here in the portal. As a reminder, Brian Kelly was asked in his last press conference before the spring game, so last week, I think it was maybe Thursday last week after practice, Wilson Alexander asked him specifically about portal targets.
Brian, as you go into the offseason, like you said, kind of evaluating this roster, other than maybe defensive tackle, other positions that y'all might target in the transfer portal?
I don't see any other positions that we need to be in the transfer portal for other than the defensive tackle position, really.
So BK said defensive tackle there. And then after the spring game, if I recall correctly, he was talking about he was talking specifically about defensive tackle and how they were looking at addressing it in the portal. You know, if they could find starters there in the portal here in this in the spring portal window. And it stands to reason that when you look at the defensive tackle market, what LSU is looking for, you're not necessarily just looking for numbers. You're looking for guys that could potentially come in and be starters. And it may sound obvious, but look, Jacoby Guillory is a fifth-year player who's been a rotational guy and had a really good spring by all accounts. Brian Kelly mentioned him by name as a guy who developed tremendously here during spring. I don't know if you have that one about Jacobian. It's okay. But he mentioned Guillory by name as a guy who had a great spring and is really sort of emerged as a no doubt starter. Well, after that, you got Jalen Lee, and we know you've got the transfer Gio Pius from Wisconsin coming in. Kimo Makanaioli switched from offense to defensive line. You got Sean Washington, who came in from JUCO. So you're starting to build your numbers back there, but there's still a lot of question marks. So if there's a guy in the portal that's a no doubt, or guys, plural, in the portal that would be no doubt starters, you go get them. Because what you lost, maybe most importantly, from the last portal window, when you lost guys like Fitzgerald West and Bryce Langston, you lost Tyji Hill, you lost guys that were your young depth, right? So it really just, it gutted your numbers. But the other thing that's important to remember as we move through this portal cycle are LSU's numbers. So I told you last week, unofficially, but as best I could gather, having some conversations with folks over at LSU, that the Tigers are at 88 scholarship players right now going into the fall. They're at 88. The scholarship limit is 85. So you've got to purge at least 3 players off your roster. If that's guys entering the portal, if that's guys medically retiring from football, whatever. You got to purge 3 scholarship players off your roster just to get to 85. So if you're going to add anyone else, that means you're going to have to continue to subtract from your roster. It's not as simple as saying, like when BK got here and they were so limited on numbers, they just had to add bodies. Now you have to be sort of selective. Because if you're going to purge someone or process someone off of your roster, you have to do so for someone that's going to make an immediate impact for you. So that's why you're looking at starting caliber players in the portal. Now, this is one thing that I think if you're an LSU fan should give you a lot of optimism. We have talked plenty in this NIL era about where LSU stands. And this has evolved since July of 21 to now. LSU had a collective, the Go Enterprises, that really never got very organized in the way they were going about things. It's not a knock. It was just everyone sort of feeling their way through it. Of course, they shut down Go Enterprises. They launched Bayou Traditions. And I know Match Point has gotten involved with Bayou Traditions as well. And they've started to get organized and continue their fundraising efforts. Now, it's still roughly the same 24 thereabouts supporters that are funding LSU's collective. And that's a precarious spot because when Gordon was here last week with us, and he talked about this on the record. And it's a precarious spot because if like one of those donors decides, I'm out, well, now you've significantly cut your budget, which is why I know the big push that is coming certainly is how do you engage fans to participate in the collective at a lower dollar amount. Things that places like Ole Miss and Auburn have done exceptionally well are engage the $20, $50, $100 a month donor. Because if you do that in massive numbers, if 10,000 fans are donating $20, $50, $100 a month, well, that starts to add up significantly. To supplement your high dollar boosters. But I'm sure LSU continues to work toward that end. But they had a great event over at the LSU indoor facility about a month or so ago, where they netted about $400K on that event. And what you've also seen is an appeal to those 24 or so supporters to increase their dollar spend, and it's worked. Gordon told us on the record that last year's roster, LSU's collective paid about $4 million in total. Now, by comparison, Texas's roster last year that went to the college football playoff, that was about a $9 million roster, okay? So it was more than double what LSU had spent. And the goal for LSU this year was get to about $7 million. And I was told today that they've surpassed that as far as the money that they have to spend. So the good news is they have even more resources to contribute. And I know I've told you this before, and I don't mind saying this on the record. Brian Thomas, Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo were all offered $500,000 from LSU's collective to come back for another year. And all three obviously passed. And while it sucks that all three of the guys left, that means that's an additional $1.5 million that you had earmarked for players that didn't stay. So now you can go into this portal window knowing you have funds, right? And if you need to be aggressive and competitive, you can be. It's one of the things that hurt you a year ago. And I've given you this example, but LSU was hot and heavy after Braden Fisk and Keon Coleman last year. And also Fentrell Cypress, the cornerback that ended up at Florida State. Those three players that all ended up at Florida State, LSU wanted. And all three ended up at Florida State because Florida State had significantly greater NIL offers than LSU. What I'm here to tell you is this year, that's not going to be the case. Just the money alone that had been earmarked for those three players is now available on top of what they already had budgeted, which is even more than last year's team. So LSU is getting to a much healthier spot with its collective, with its organization, with how it's fundraising. And that's a process. And I don't know necessarily that you would say LSU is in the top 5 or top 10, top 15 in the country as far as that. But they're getting to the point where when they do target guys like they're going to be competitive with who they want. So, I mean, we all know, I think Philip Bleedy is one of the defensive tackles they're after. That's the defensive tackle from Indiana, who started his career at Texas Tech, spent this past year at Indiana. He's married with 2 children. So you talk about, again, another guy that is an adult, right? With 1 year of eligibility remaining. And then I was also told, I don't want to mention names specifically, but there were 2 G5 defensive linemen that are expected to hit the portal. One has hit the portal, and one with ties to Louisiana that would also be targets for LSU. And as I'm told, these would be starting caliber players if LSU is able to get them. These aren't rotational pieces. It would be akin to Braden Fisk a year ago. A guy when he was 18, didn't have big school offers, went to Western Michigan, had an incredible career as he grew and developed, went to Florida State and dominated. It's a similar path to what they saw a year ago with Braden Fisk that they're looking. So the Tigers are prepared. They have their war chest ready, and they're going to be competitive. And I would be fall over stunned if LSU didn't add one or two more interior defensive linemen in this portal window. And the other thing I'll tell you, the position, this is going to sound obvious, but cornerback is another spot where they're not going to take a player just to take another player. But if there is a starter that hits the portal, LSU will be competitive and will go make a play, bringing in a starting caliber player in the portal at cornerback. So while Brian Kelly said there's no need to target anything other than defensive tackle, I'm telling you, if there is a corner available that's a starting caliber player, LSU feels confident they can go make a play at that as well. So Tigers are going to make this interesting here in this portal window. They're not done, but remember, it's gains and losses, because you're at 88 scholarship players. You're going to lose at least 3 more, and if you're going to add 1, 2, 3 more scholarship players in the portal, that's 1, 2, 3 more players currently on the roster that you're going to have to lose. So expect to see comings and goings in this portal cycle for LSU. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by our friends over at Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com. Really excited, man. I was chatting with my friends over at Optimize yesterday, and just in the first couple of weeks that we've been talking about them, you all have made their phones blow up, and I'm so grateful for that. Look, I know this is the most basic way to say it. We live in South Louisiana. We get storms here. We lose power. That sucks. Everybody would love an automatic home standby generator. Without exception. Everybody would love to have one. There's 2 questions. Can I afford it? And who should I buy it from? Well, can you afford it? Optimize. They offer transparent pricing. The quote you get is the price you will pay. They're never going to continue to upsell you and add things. No, the price that they quote you is the price you will pay, and they have financing options that can fit any budget. That's one. And the reason you should call Optimize is they're Louisiana's #1 Generac automatic home standby dealer. Nobody in our state sells more Generac automatic home standby generators than Optimize. And the reason for that is it's all they do. They don't have 15 different verticals within their company, and one of them is a generator division. Like when the technician who comes to install your generator or service your generator, like that's all they do all day long is install and service Generac automatic home standby generators. It's the one thing they do, so they do it better than everybody else. It's Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. By the way, with 4 physical locations, they service the entire 10-12 corridor. So from Lake Charles to Slidell, every point in between, GeneratorPeople.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Went a bit long there. My apologies. We'll come back. Our buddy John Nabers will be here with us. We'll get you an Arkansas spring recap as we look at the Hogs. They might be the next up for a coaching change if they don't get this thing on the straight and narrow. We'll talk about the Hogs next on AFR.
AFR.
Glow Resources and glowresources.com. Check out our friends at Glow Resources. If you are a business owner and you're looking for help hiring, or maybe you've never looked for help in hiring, but what you've continued to see is turnover. What you've continued to see is the people you hire not work out. And that costs you productivity and functionality. You need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com. At Glow Resources, they are experts in helping you find the perfect person for the job that you have. They specialize, of course, in their skilled blue-collar division, but they have a white-collar division as well. So if you're looking for C-level management, it's tax season. Yesterday was tax day. Obviously, there's a lot of people who filed extensions, and if you need help, CPAs, whatever it may be, Glow Resources can help. Look them up online, glowresources.com. Baton Rouge is their headquarters, but they got offices all over the country, and they place people in jobs all over the world. glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
He's here. And Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song. I got a guy who can fix this.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
The SEC Spring Recap on After Further Review. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Was this Sam Pittman's last spring at Arkansas? Let's find out. John Nabers is good enough to join us on Twitter at John Nabers Show. NattyStateSports.com. Johnny boy, how are you, man?
I'm good. Was there been spring football? Did that happen? I haven't really been paying attention, to be honest. There's been a few other things that's been going on here in Razorback land. But yeah.
Pretty good baseball team and a new basketball head coach, as I heard. But is Sam Pittman, is this going to be his last spring there in Fayetteville?
You know, that's the question I think I've asked myself, and I've gone back and forth on so many times. But to be honest, Matt, I think right now, yeah, it is. And it's not necessarily that he's going to get fired, which absolutely could happen, and they could move on if they don't make tremendous strides from what they did a year ago. But I think a lot of it is just the vibes I get. He could retire. He may get to the point to where he's like, this new era of college football, the craziness and the pressures, it's just not for me. I want to do something different. I got all the money. I want to go to my lake house in Hot Springs and just chill. I could absolutely see that being the case. So between that likelihood and also the likelihood of him maybe not being employed because of the lack of success that Arkansas potentially could have, I would lean towards it and saying that, yeah, Sam Pittman very well could not be in Fayetteville as the head coach next week.
Who's going to be the quarterback?
Talon Green. He's the guy transfer out of Boise State who has been basically QB1 since the get-go in spring. I thought it was interesting where Bobby Petrino brought him in and really liked him from his high school days. And I was saying, okay, well, maybe there'll be a competition because you got Jacoby Criswell, you got Malachi Singleton, you got these talented guys, and it was no competition. I mean, from the very jump, from the very get-go, it was Talon Green, and they never really looked back, which just from what I've seen, and even in the spring game, I know it was against the second-team defense, but I've been really impressed by him. So it's Talon Green, and they feel really strong and really confident that he's going to be a tremendous upgrade from what Arkansas had a year ago.
So Criswell entered the transfer portal today, so that would certainly indicate that job is settled. Were you surprised that KJ Jefferson elected to use another year, but to transfer out of Arkansas?
I wouldn't say surprised. I was maybe a little bit more surprised where he ended up, because it seemed like there would have been some more suitors that maybe in closer to his home state of Mississippi, like maybe they would have tried to go a route there. But to me, it's like he's a good quarterback who did some good things at Arkansas, and you can't deny a lot of the numbers and all that. But I also don't think he's a guy that's gotten good reports from the NFL and from the scouts and then the pros. And that may have been something that he got told to say, hey, you still got a lot of work to do. You need to go someplace else. You need to stay another year in college. And I think he just went to the portal and said, all right, what can I get? Where can I go? What can be given to me? And UCF was the place, not only for the Gus Malzahn angle, but a little insight. S.J. Tui was on the Arkansas staff, actually, when KJ Jefferson was recruited under Chad Morris. He was one of the integral parts of his recruitment, and he's at UCF now. So I think that was a deal to where he's like, hey, this makes sense. I know it, and you can do some great stuff with Gus Malzahn as your coach.
Interesting. Does the offense, I don't know what you could tell in spring what the conversations are like, but how much does the offense change with Bobby Petrino back as OC?
I don't want to try to pump sunshine, but it's just reality. I think the Arkansas offense is going to be tremendously better, and I think a lot of it settles in with just the transfers that they added in a key position. Not only did you get a quarterback in Taylor Green, but the running back, Jaquindon Jackson, the transfer out of Utah, that guy is built like a truck, 6'3", 235 pounds, very intimidating. He's fast. He's got power. He's got athleticism. Between him and returning Rashad Dubinion, I think the rushing attack's going to be much more improved. The wide receivers all returned essentially from a year ago, which, not to say any of them were great, but we didn't really know because Arkansas couldn't throw the ball very well. So what I've seen in spring is that they've really made some tremendous strides. You got Luke Haas, which I know LSU fans may remember last season in Baton Rouge. He's back off of his injury, broke his collarbone, but he's 100% good to go. He's a elite level tight end. He's back into the mix. But the most important thing, Matt, is this offensive line, which may have been the worst offensive line I've ever seen in Razorback history a year ago. They got rid of Cody Kennedy. Eric Mateos from Baylor's come in. Sam Pittman's been so much more hands-on with the offensive line in the spring. Added in a couple of key transfers. Addison Nichols from Tennessee. Fernando Carmona from San Jose State, who is a highly regarded one. And I've been really impressed by the O-line so far this year. It's going to be vastly improved. Does that mean it's going to be best in the SEC? Are they going to score 30 points a game? I don't really know, but I think just based on the Petrino angle, based on the personnel that they have and some of the contributors that they do have, there's a chance that it could be the reason why Arkansas has success this season.
Eric Mateos, of course, former LSU assistant as well. People here know him well. Certainly a really good young coach. John Nabers is with us. He's on Twitter at John Nabers Show. Y'all give him a follow. Flip it over, John. Defensively, that was a unit that certainly had its issues a year ago. They were 82nd in the country in scoring defense. Improved?
No, just to be honest about it. I think that there is still some pieces that could be really good. Like, I'm actually thinking the secondary is going to be one of the strengths of this team. They return a lot of the key pieces from last year. They got some experienced guys that have been in the mix and have been elsewhere. And I really like Marcus Woodson, the safeties coach. He's been great for them too. But the defensive line could be fine. Like they got Landon Jackson, which I know LSU fans know, but they got him back and he's been really good in the spring, and he's a all-SEC caliber player. He's been really good. They got some other guys that are solid defensive linemen, but the problem is, as a linebacker, because if they had every eligible still linebacker from a year ago on this team, it'd actually be really good. But they lost every single one of them. They lost Chris Pupal over to Ole Miss. They lost Shaheem Thomas over to Wisconsin. They lost Bilal Powell over to UNLV. Like, they lost everybody. And they didn't really gain a whole lot except for transfer named Xavier Sori, who was a former 5-star from Georgia, may end up being okay. And then a guy named Brad Spence, who was on the team last year but didn't play much. So I'm concerned about linebacker. I know they're going to hit it in the portal really hard, but I think it's going to be one of the weaknesses on this team. So will the defense be terrible? There's a chance that it could be, but it's hard for me just to bet on this defense being improved from what it was a season ago.
John, any obvious portal targets?
I mean, linebacker has to get done. I think linebacker is the first, second, and third priority for this team because they got to get even some depth because they don't even have players. Like, they have a few, but just high-quality players that can at least be bodies. They need to hit that hard. I think D lineman is another one that they're really going to look at getting into the portal. Offensively, I think they're fine. I think the defense on that side of the ball, they're really going to get after and maybe just try to build some depth. If anything on the offense, it would be at the offensive line position. But I think right now, defensive line, linebackers for sure, and maybe another cornerback or two. But defense is going to be the priority overall for this team.
John, Vegas has the Hogs over under 5.5. What would you say today? Not holding you to it, but today, what would you say?
Barely over. I mean, I think that this team makes a bowl game. I think they could go 6-6.
Okay.
I know the schedule is pretty, it always is daunting for Arkansas, but their toughest games are at home. They have 4 home games this year against Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, which none of those games are easy, but at least they're at home. They go to Oklahoma State in the second week of the season, which could be crucial to this team's success and will be. And then they only have 3 true road games, and those 3 true road games are against Mississippi State, Auburn, and Missouri, with the A&M game being in Arlington for the final time. So I think the schedule at least sets them up to where they can go to a bowl game. So right now where it stands, and because I believe in Petrino in this offense, I think they can get to 6-6. But beyond that, I just don't think I'm at that point just yet. So I'll probably talk myself into 10 wins to get closer to the season because that's what I do.
He's on Twitter at John Nabers Show. We'll see you in Dallas in July, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate it as always, Matt.
Thanks, buddy. John Nabers. Go to nattystatesports.com. John's done a ton of different stuff, man. Radio, TV, digital, all over there. We love talking to John about Arkansas. We're brought to you by Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com, pure-restoration.com. A big name just hit the portal. I'll tell you about that in just a quick second. Pure-restoration.com. If you kill mold, remove odor, if you have water intrusion in your home, you have black mold, think you might. Maybe you got odor from water intrusion, from smoke, pets. Maybe it's a public building as well. Pure Restoration will fog schools at the start of every year to make sure that it stays sanitized for their kiddos that come through. It's Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. It's easy, it's cost-effective, and it's going to be more efficient as well. And because it's a fog, it'll get into every nook and cranny to kill any mold or bacteria or other pathogens wherever it might be hiding. Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. This breaking from the portal just a bit ago, Colorado cornerback Cormani McClain, who is a 5-star #1 corner in the country from this past recruiting class, he has hit the portal, courtesy of Hayes Fawcett over there at On3. So mentioned a bit ago that LSU could be in the market for a cornerback if there was a starting caliber corner in the portal. Well, Cormani McClain would certainly qualify. I have no information whatsoever if LSU is interested, would be. I have no information whatsoever. What I do know is that if there is a starting caliber corner that LSU would be interested in, that would certainly check the boxes. So we'll follow that as well. All right, well, now I got a quick break. Heading to the blender. Jake Madison joins us next. AFR.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Tilling up her land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Big shout out to our friends over at Sunshine. Make sure you go to sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Get that zero-turn mower, not just tractors, everything John Deere. Head to the blender. Our buddy Jake Madison locked on Pels. Good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Their boots on the ground. Jake, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. I got Brandon Ingram warming up right in front of me, so that's a good sign going into this game, I'd say.
Are we expecting more than 23 minutes tonight?
Yeah, I think he's going to have about a full allotment of minutes. I don't think there's really any restriction on him going forward, so I think he's going to be a full go, and they're going to need a big game from him if they want to win this one.
What, Jake, potentially, or what changes would you like to see tonight to pivot from what happened on Sunday?
Yeah, I think there's 2 areas they're really looking to try and improve to kind of get a different result than the other night. And the first and foremost one is, like, how do you defend LeBron James, which is certainly easier said than done here. But he really just tore them up early on, driving into the paint, attacking the basket, and then dishing the ball off when there were late rotations from the Pelicans defense coming over. He had 13 assists at halftime. The Lakers were leading 50 to 12 points in the paint. They need to press that point of attack and be a little bit more disruptive to the Lakers. You know, the Pelicans have had the 6th-ranked defense this season. One of the things they thrive on is forcing turnovers and getting out in transition and running, which then allows their defense to get back, get set, and then try and force another turnover. But when they were inbounding the ball from under their own basket, it just kind of threw everything off. That starts with defending LeBron James, being disruptive at the point of attack, and not just letting him have easy things. He just drove down it with a baseline cutter or someone in the dunker spot that he dumped the ball over to. This wasn't like complex basketball. This wasn't a coaching masterclass. It was simple basketball plays that need to be defended better. The Pelicans came out with a lack of energy with that. I think they'll be a little bit more up to the challenge and the fight, I think, in this game. And then offensively, they need to find a way to get Zion Williamson going. I think partially the Lakers are a bad matchup for Zion. They started with LeBron James defending him. LeBron's got that size, he's got that strength, and he's just got the knowledge. You know, I talked to a couple of people around the team and with the Lakers. he knows Zion's game really well. He does the studying of it to know what Zion is going to do and be really well prepared. So they need to throw some different looks at LeBron and this Lakers team. I think you need to get C.J. McCollum going early. I think you need to get Brandon Ingram going early. And then you have Zion Williamson try and take you home late in the game to close it out once you've made other guys threats that they need to defend.
You mentioned the points in the paint. Look, obviously a lot of people looked at Jonas playing 7 minutes. I mean, is this a matchup where you think, well, maybe you take a harder look at getting Jonas more minutes to help with a presence in the paint?
I think you will see him get more minutes than I think the 7 or 8 that he got in that game. I don't think Jonas Valanciunas is the answer, however. I can tell you that Cody Zeller is not the answer, and they should not play him over a guy like Jonas Valanciunas. However, I don't think that that's going to kind of change the outlook of the game that they want. I think the Lakers would be very happy if they tried to force feed the ball to Jonas Valanciunas. One of the things you saw a couple weeks ago when the Pelicans beat the Miami Heat was the Heat double-teamed Jonas Valanciunas whenever he got the ball. No other team has really done that since, and if teams aren't going to double Jonas, I don't think it's as great of a matchup for the Pelicans there. The Lakers are going to start with Anthony Davis on him. I think that's something that he can handle. Don't play guys like Cody Zeller who haven't played in the past 2 months, really, since the All-Star break. Play Jonas Valanciunas more, but start getting the other guys going, I think.
He's on Twitter at Nola Jake. Of course, make sure you're subscribed up as well, Locked on Pelicans. What about playing a team back-to-back here, consecutive games, just with the day off in between? I don't know if there's any historical trend either this year with this team that would lend you any insight to how they might handle tonight. Any thoughts on just going back-to-back games against the Lakers?
I think you've seen them make some pretty quick adjustments that have led to some good turnarounds for the team. The best example I would use is with the Phoenix Suns. About 2 weeks ago, they lost pretty badly at home to the Phoenix Suns, but then went on the road with a different offensive game plan, a different defensive game plan, and then got that win about a week ago or so on Sunday, and that was one of the bigger wins of the season for the Pelicans, going on the road, beating a good Phoenix Suns team who's starting to peak a little bit at the right time. So I think they can make some adjustments. From talking with people around the team, they have a couple of tweaks in there with what they're going to try and do offensively to create a little bit more space for Zion, to create, manufacture more open three-point shooting. They've been a very good three-point shooting team this season. They want to make sure they're getting solid, quality, open looks. So I think you'll see a couple of wrinkles here. And while I don't think Willie Green is one of the elite coaches in the league, and there are certainly some issues, I do think they know how to make the right kind of adjustments, and they're treating this like a kind of a mini playoff series here.
What's the scene like there, Jake?
Not what you'd like, to be perfectly honest. I think that loss on Sunday kind of deflated the fan base a little bit. We're about 45 minutes from tip-off here. Normally for a game like this on CD Arena, pretty crowded. It's really not yet, just from kind of talking with the fans, kind of feeling out the fan base the past couple, day or so. I think people are a little bit disappointed with the Pelicans kind of just getting blown out at home in a really disappointing and embarrassing loss here. So I was talking to some other people today saying that if for whatever reason the Pelicans lose this one, they do get another crack at getting into the postseason on Friday, but I think worried about what the arena is going to look like too. So the Pelicans are coming in with a lot to prove, not just to themselves, but to the fan base and everybody as well, I think.
Last thing for you, man, and obviously the players are going to go out and try to win, but it's an undeniable convo, Jake. Would you rather match up with Denver or OKC? I mean, if they lose tonight and you get the game on Friday against either Golden State or Sacramento, I mean, is it that bad of a scenario for New Orleans?
No, I don't think it's the worst case scenario should they lose, and that's the advantage of being the 7th seed. Being able to win 1 out of 2 versus 2 in a row, I think is really significant here. So obviously you'd rather take OKC than Denver. The are tough thing think though, right? Like this team is going to tank. The Lakers are going to tank, aren't going to tank. This is going to be a competitive game. You'd much rather play OKC, but this team I think will feel good about the next game. They're 5-0 against Sacramento teams this season. Sacramento seems to have no answer to anything that New Orleans throws out there. They've gone on the road, beaten the Golden State Warriors. They feel confident in that matchup. So even if they lose this, it'll be disappointing. Don't get me wrong, but not the end of the world just yet, and the season won't be over.
Yeah, he is Jake Madison on Twitter at Nola Jake. Make sure you subscribe to the pod there at Locked on Pelicans. Does a great job. Have all the recap. You going to drop it tonight, Jake, after the game or in the morning?
Yeah, it'll be a new show pretty soon, right after the game ends, breaking down whether they won, whether they lost, and what it means going forward.
All right, man. Make sure you're subscribed up on your favorite podcast app or there on YouTube. Thanks, Jake. We appreciate it, man.
course. Thanks for having me on, y'all.
All right, be well. Jake Madison, Locked On Pels, does a great job. We appreciate him for jumping aboard there from the blender. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. It's First South Farm Credit since 1916. It's the one thing they've done since 1916. More than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has helped Louisianians buy land. You want to buy land to build your dream home? First South Farm Credit. You want to buy acreage for agriculture, your farm, you want to buy 1,000 acres? First South Farm Credit. Maybe you want a hunting property, your recreational property. First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be First South Farm Credit. Just remember, your first call, First South. First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com, and make sure you ask, because one of the things they do exceptionally well, like the patronage refund, for example, they are a member-owned cooperative. So they share in the profits with their member borrowers. So if you borrow money from First South Farm Credit every year, you will get a check, a part of the patronage refund every single year. If there's an opportunity for you to refinance, get a better rate, they will call you and tell you it's First South Farm Credit. You'll have that experience. They've been doing it for more than 100 years. firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. We'll get Jimmy's thoughts on Pels-Lakers tonight. It was interesting because when that line opened up, it was New Orleans 1.5. It got bet all the way the other way to where the Lakers were 1.5, 2-point favorite, and then it got bet back to New Orleans, which kind of tells you that maybe the sharp money here is on the Pels to have a bounce back, whereas maybe the public bought the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers are going to be a really public team. It's just kind of one of those stinky lines, right? 2 days after watching the Lakers blow the doors off of New Orleans on that home floor, and they're coming back, playing again, and the Pels are favored again. And even if I look at, the ESPN analytics, as they look at the matchup predictor for this game, they got the Pels as a 58% chance of winning. So 58.1 to 41.9. So pretty significant, lean toward the Pels there from the computers. The odds makers like the Pels. Pels have just not been a great team in close ball games, and they've been better on the road than they have at home. They're about a 500 team at home. They're 21-19 on their home floor this year. So we just mentioned they had that 4-game road swing last week, as Jake mentioned, starting with Phoenix. Phoenix and Sacramento and Portland and Golden State. When you absolutely had to have it, you come home in game 82 with a chance to solidify yourself in the 6th seed, and you get the doors blown off of you. So I can understand what Jake meant there by the fan base maybe is struggling with dealing with what happened on Sunday, and do you expose yourself emotionally again tonight? 6:30 tip on TNT. It's the national broadcast, of course, for the play-in, Pels and Lakers. All right, final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. See what we're betting on tonight. Stick around. It's AFR presented by Sunshine.
AFR.
Get Gordon, get it done. Not too late, y'all. It's not too late to go to GordonsGrads.com. Don't forget the S. GordonsGrads.com. Every year around graduation time, Gordon McKernan gives away 12 laptops to graduating seniors. So if you're a high school senior and you're going to college or trade school, Gordon wants to give you the opportunity to win a laptop totally free. Just go to GordonsGrads.com, GordonsGrads.com. Your parent, aunt, uncle, you got a son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandchild, whatever, graduating from high school. Make sure they know about this. It's so easy. Just a little bitty form to fill out on the homepage. Go to GordonsGrads.com, and you could win one of 12 laptops as you start college or trade school, whatever it may be, courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. As we always tell you, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Go to GetGordon.com. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150s, $10,000 off the new F-150 truck, plus 1.9% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The best kept.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Love our friends over at Sunshine. If you're bunky and below, you want to buy a Deere, you're buying it from Sunshine, and they're just the best. Go to sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, proud partner of LSU Athletics. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Yacht Father himself, Jimmy Yacht. Otter, how are you?
Doing good. Sitting here at the corner of St. Charles and Girard, my favorite little spot. Heard Saint, a pregame before the Pels.
Babe. We got floor seats tonight, Otter. Sweeten it up. What are we doing?
My buddy James Carville has a flight out overseas in the morning. He gave us his ticket, so we're visiting with him right now.
Of course you are.
I'm just telling you what.
I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying.
So we're down here. I mean, it's excited, you know. The city's in good shape, you know. Harris, we donated a little bit there, so you know.
All right. Well, what are we thinking? We got to play on the NBA games tonight, or are we just looking at MLB?
Deal, man. This line has been popping around. Everybody's trying to break it down. How do you find a matchup that favors the Pels? I mean, really. And it, opened up 1.5, 2, and then it got bad. Boom, boom, boom. Lakers 1.5. At about 9:30 this morning, here's some sharp money on the Pels. All of a sudden, they go from 1.5, 2-point dogs to 1.5-point favorite. So it's settled down. What are you looking at? Like -1 right now?
Yeah, Pels 1.
So we've heard you heard the deal. And look, the thing is, we don't protect the rim, and they attack the rim. They're a 2-point specialist team, and then LeBron on Zion was a little bit of a matchup issue as well. 3 of the 4 games have been all the games have been blows. 3 in LA's favor, 1 in the Pels' favor. The 2 that counted the most, that in-season tournament and Sunday, Pels really looked poor. Something screams. There's a streetcar. I'm sorry. So anyway. yeah. At least it's not the horse guy with the bugle at Del Mar. So,
or the cursing waitress.
We're taking a shot. Plus 350 alternate line. If this thing gets out of hand, they may sit their guide. Pels minus 10.5. Alternate line is plus 350. So we're definitely taking a shot there, and then putting a little bit on the Pels as well.
We're laying 10.5 with the Pels.
Yeah, who else is doing that but us? Right, exactly.
Okay.
Looking at other shops, seriously, it's anywhere to plus 275, 285, 310. So DK has the best price out there at plus 350. So
it's actually plus 360 right now.
Hello. Wait till it tips. It'll be 370.
Okay. We're going alt line Pels minus 10.5. I'll wade in those waters with you, Otter. I'm here for it. Let's play ball, damn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going with Golden State.
Okay.
To 110 of 12. What it took the Pels to shoot 54% on Friday night to beat them there. I mean, that's it. They're kicking into gear. You know, I don't have to tell you about their experience in the postseason and everything else. But they're playing really good. And so, and Sacramento's down Monk and the kid from Virginia. They're just not quite what they usually are. Got a couple of MLB picks today. We had some tough loss last night. Matt. When we get to the bottom of the 10th with a ghost runner at second, we're supposed to score. Please, Diamondback. But anyway.
1 minute remaining.
Royals minus 1.5.
All right.
Royals minus 1.5. And Blue Jays, Phillies. Oh, Phillies already up 2-0. Hello. Thank you. So.
What were you looking at with Blue Jays and Phillies?
No, you're not getting that price anymore. So
well, Blue Jays are playing the Yankees.
I know, but listen, Rodon's ERA is good, but Swift's not. He's been living a little bit of a charmed life so far. Now, I'm not buying into Rodon. I do like the Yankees this year, though.
All right, Otter, we appreciate it, man. Have a great night there at the Blender. Go Pels.
Lock up.
See ya. All right, that'll do it for us here. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. Pels tonight, LSU baseball against UNO. We'll be back here talking about it all tomorrow. See you tomorrow, 3 AFR.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.